That will never get old. This will never, ever get old. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, wait, I'm hearing it double time. That's why. You know what? It's earlier than usual, and so I forgot the mic today, and then Miko had to drive over to drop off the mic. So thank you all for being so patient. It's so nice to see everyone here. Boy, today is it's a new day. We have 3 hours today to get into it all. How is everyone doing? I want to give a shout out to the new member, Chelsea. Welcome to the dinner party. Thank you so much for being here. Who else is in here? Angela, Amy. Hi, Amy. Oh, Amy, we're getting into it today. We're really getting into it today. Who else is in here? Becca. I see Melanie, Shawnee. Who else? Happy Quails, Allie. Who else? Nikki, Nat, Juliet. Did I say Sia? Hi, Sia. I see everybody's in here. Hi, Mom. Thank you, obviously, to all the mods in here. Woo! Okay, it's hot in the studio today. Weather really changed. It's been pretty cloudy and rainy here in Los Angeles, and then all of a sudden it's sunny and hot, but I hear that next week is going to be raining again. I think it might be a little bit drizzling actually when we do the Grammys protests, but rain or shine, you know, survivors are going to be showing up regardless. We're just gonna be bringing our umbrellas. It's not gonna stop us. But how is everyone doing? Okay, so January 30th, it's a Tuesday. We're approaching February. I wanted to say we're approaching Valentine's Day, but like Valentine's Day kind of sucks. I don't know. It's one of those Hallmark holidays that I feel like makes more people feel the ick than other holidays, but maybe some people celebrate it. I mean, now, for me personally, now that I have 2 children, I'm obviously married, you know, it's like a one day that we can be like, let's set it aside and go to dinner or something. So maybe that's you. Maybe Valentine's Day creates space for you to be with someone that you love. And I also think Valentine's Day shouldn't just be about relationships. It should be also friendships. It's like a day of showing love, you know, and appreciating those around you, community, etc. So I'm curious what your thoughts are when it comes to Valentine's Day. How do you, Sia? I have my mom watching with me for the first time. No way, Sia. Hi, Sia's mom. Wait, Sia, what's your mom's name? Otherwise, I'm gonna be like, you know, Sia's mom. Welcome to eatpredators Daily. So obviously, I'm your host, Alexanikolas. Usually, you know, it's about an hour and a half, and I've decided now to go live Tuesdays and Thursdays. But now I'm going to basically do the 3 hours and then the other 3 hours in 2 separate days. And this is going to be interesting. We have a lot to get into. I know that the community was letting me know that CHRISTY CARLSON Romano had some strange disclaimer in the beginning of one of her recent episodes. And while we were live, I did not know what that was in regards to until my husband and I looked it up. And then I honestly could not believe that that happened. I can't believe what she said and how unaccountable she truly is at this point. And it was definitely disappointing. And so obviously, first and foremost, we're going to get into that first. We're going to get into Pretty Little Liars, which, by the way, I never watched the show. I actually never watched Pretty Little Liars. I feel like I was a little bit too old when that show came out. Like, I think it came out in 2010 and I was 18 at that point. And so I never really watched the show. And then when I started to see what was happening on that show, I started to do a little bit of digging over the weekend. And thank you so much to the Discord community, because they really pulled through and gave me a lot to digest. And it's pretty appalling. You know, obviously I have my own personal experience when it comes to Dan Schneider and Nickelodeon and the creepiness there and inappropriate behavior. I wasn't really aware of ABC Family and how they were operating in 2010. And it is not good, because you have to remember that most of the fan base when it comes to Pretty Little Liars was like 12 to, I guess, like 23, 24, but still the starting age was 12 years old. And obviously this was before the Me Too movement, and there wasn't a lot of education around these topics. And you got 12-year-olds watching this show, you know, consuming it all, taking it all in. And, you know, I'm pretty positive that your brain doesn't fully develop until you're like 26 years old. I think, I think it's 27. I think they're 1 year after. But nonetheless, it's 26 years old. And, you know, now being a mom, I could just see how, you know, Nova, for example, is a sponge. She's just, you know, taking in everything. She's taking in her environment constantly. And, you know, obviously television is part of that. And when I learned how irresponsible ABC Family truly was when it came to Pretty Little Liars, I felt it was necessary to talk about it, because media does play a role in how we, you know, view the world. You know, it even can manipulate us in ways that obviously we're not fully aware of at the time. And when you're watching television, you are more in a beta state, and your conscious mind is not as active, and so you're just taking it all in. And what exactly are we taking in? And boy, I was really deeply disturbed when it came to Pretty Little Liars. And then ABC Family switched over to Freeform, which I guess they had to change the name. Why? Why exactly did they have to change the name? Because ABC Family wasn't really cutting it anymore? Or were they nervous about the fact that they were using the word family when it came to the very disturbing topics that they were basically framing as normal to children, to literal children? And we know Brandon Quinn, I did a whole, you know, episode about Brandon Quinn, and like, I don't even want to get into Brandon Quinn today, because obviously he is so extremely triggering. But his show, oh yeah. Wait, do you want me to bring it more up? Are you crawling? Quiet's crawling over. Up? Can you guys hear me? Wait, Quiet's literally crawling on the floor right now. Literally crawling on the floor right now. But so yeah, Freeform. Whatever, I don't even know what that means. Like, what exactly does Freeform actually even mean? But Brandon Quinn was on a show called The Fosters. And that's the only reason why I know that ABC Family changed their name. And I'm just guessing that Family wasn't really making them look that good, because the content that they were creating was, you know, not for whatever family. And so we're going to get into that today. We're going to get into, obviously, Vince McMahon, just like the weirdest name, like a man that you order, I guess, like at McDonald's. It's Vince McMahon. I didn't really know who he was until recently. So we're going to get into that disturbing lawsuit, and obviously power to, you know, his survivors. It feels like this has been going on for far too long. There was a lot of, you know, cover up, in my opinion, when it comes to the WWE and it's just deeply disturbing. I've each lawsuit is disturbing, obviously. This one was really that everyone was telling me trigger warning, read it at your own pace. And boy, were they right. This individual is allegedly very, very disturbing and honestly disgusting. So we're going to get into a lot today, but first and foremost, we're going to get into Christy Carlson Romano, and I'm so happy to see everyone here. I'm going to go into my little spiel because just to remind everyone, ePredators Daily is completely DIY grassroots, and I've, dedicated my life to this work, and we don't have any corporate sponsors, and so this is completely community built. And first, I want to say thank you to every member here, every Patreon member, every person who has bought ePredators merch to spread awareness for survivors. Thank you so, so much, because it's all about making this work sustainable, and it's hard, especially even with YouTube. They definitely bury the videos, and I have some issues with them on the regular. And so your support really, really matters. So even if it's liking this video, sharing this video to a fellow survivor or a ally or potential ally, subscribing, turning your notifications on, those are all great ways to support the channel. And then I just want to say we do have a protest coming up. We are protesting the Grammys. If you haven't seen the recent lawsuits in regards to the Recording Academy, aka the Grammys, I have a video. Oh, a new welcome to the Munchies. That Claudia kid, welcome to the Munchies. Thank you so much for being here. So if you haven't seen those lawsuits, they are absolutely horrible. The Recording Academy is a defendant in both lawsuits, alleging cover-up, and it's really, really awful. So obviously, if you have the stomach for it and it's not too triggering, please check out my videos where I go through the actual complaints. These survivors are extremely brave. And so, yeah, we're protesting February 4th. It might be raining, but we're going to be there February 4th, and it's going to be 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. at the crypto.com arena, used to be known as the Staples Center. And so if you know anybody in Los Angeles, the greater Los Angeles area, or even outside of Los Angeles that's willing to drive for the protests, because we know that some people do that and they are so amazing. That's coming up February 4th, and I can't wait to stand there amongst all of the brave survivors of the music industry, other survivors, and also allies as well. And it's going to be extremely powerful, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. So with that being said, here are some ways to support the channel outside of YouTube, becoming a member. Oh, wait, I do want to say there are 3 tiers when it comes to YouTube. There is the Munchies, the Dinner Party, and Chef's Kiss. The Dinner Party and Chef's Kiss gives you access to the incredible Discord community. Oh, welcome to the... Wait, do I see Quiet? Quiet is now part of the Munchies. Welcome, Quiet Lion. I wonder who that is. Was it the person who was just crawling around the studio? Welcome to the Munchies. Okay, so the Dinner Party and Chef's Kiss give you access to the Discord, which is a really incredible community. They really helped me today, honestly, when it came to gathering information about Pretty Little Liars, and also about Christy Carlson Romano, and also about WWE. When it comes to Vince, shout out to Chris here in the chat. Thank you so much for sending all of that information. And yeah, so becoming part of the Discord, but also some of the perks is we do every other Friday a book club and a social change now, which is a workshop where we individually find out our unique voices when it comes to social change. and it's been really empowering and really inspiring. And so I highly recommend it. It's a really great community. And then we're doing Hard Feelings by Jeanette McCurdy. We're listening to her podcast, and that's for Chef's Kiss only. We listen to the podcast, we reflect on her words, and we also add our own personal hard feelings. And it's just been a really great experience all around, and I'm loving it. I mean, Fridays is one of my favorite parts about eatpredators. And so if you're feeling interested in becoming part of the community here of survivors and allies, I highly recommend it. And then getting outside of the YouTube membership, we have here also the Patreon, and the Patreon really helps with the protest. So like the actual movement. Now, eatpredators was born out of protesting. And, you know, I am a survivor of the music industry and also a survivor of the entertainment industry in general. And I started protesting alleged predators and institutions that were allegedly covering up SA. And these signs that you see behind me are some of the protest signs that my husband and I have created. And so we've implemented artivism into the entire movement. And sadly, these signs are not really cheap. They take a lot of time and a lot of printing. And so Patreon is a great way to support the actual movement for organizing and for printing the protest signs. And we have some great benefits in there. Also, we have a zine coming up, which I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be a survivor-led and survivor-centric magazine where we celebrate and highlight a lot of survivors. We give education around these topics. There's a lot of great things that are going to be added into this magazine, and I'm very proud of it. Tiki, welcome to the dinner party. Welcome to the dinner party, Tiki. So yeah, so that helps with the zine specifically when it comes to Patreon. These are more passion projects, and if you do want to help support those projects, Patreon is a great way to do that. And we have a bunch of different tiers here. There's a live Q&A monthly. There's also the Healing Circle, which, by the way, we're doing meditation now every single Sunday with a meditation teacher. His name is Sibi, and we just did our first one this Sunday, and it was awesome. And it's all about balancing the energies. Oh, shit. That's right. Wait, where is that? Oh, it's right behind me. And we have a giveaway today, by the way. We have a giveaway for a protest sign that is very special to me. It's actually a pretty badass protest sign. So how do we want to do this giveaway? I guess maybe the first person to Jordan to support the Grammys protest. Thank you so much, Jordan. That really helps. That goes towards the paper, which, by the way, paper is so expensive. Like the ones that we're printing on are sadly like really not cheap whatsoever. And so that really, really helps. Thank you so much, Jordan. Really, really appreciate you. So how am I going to do this giveaway? I guess maybe we already have some new members here. So maybe the third Chef's Kiss. I will send out personally a special original protest sign as of recent. And so I'll put it out there. That's what we're going to do. It's right to the left of me. And so whoever is the third Chef's Kiss member, I will be sending that out. So here's Patreon. You get the gist. Here's Patreon. It helps support all of the projects. It helps support the movement in general. We also have the merchandise here, which helps spread awareness. There's a bunch of stuff on the shop right now, which, by the way, we still, if Miko's listening, which I'm sure he is, we have to remove a couple of things. The alleged dad will no longer be here, and the eatpredators Academy, that was a diss / call out to Nickelodeon and Zoe 101. There's the eatpredators Academy that will be gone by the end of the night. So if you do want that, it will be gone by midnight tonight. We have the hoodie of Power to Survivors, which is the anthem when it comes to eatpredators. It's all about empowering and giving the power back to survivors. And this is honestly what I live in. I live in this hoodie regularly, and it's so cozy and comfortable and great for the winter. And so, you know, these are the ways to support the channel because it is completely DIY. And it is there, we don't have any corporate sponsors. And I'm honestly I'm not really, I don't know, I don't necessarily always trust corporate sponsorships because yeah, I don't really align with a lot of them. And also, a lot of them forget about survivors. And we have protested Erewhon in the past and Juneshine when it came to reminding them that survivors are their customers. And it's we don't have much visibility. We don't have much support when it comes to, you know, corporate entities. And, you know, it is what it is. And so therefore I'm very hesitant when it comes to even involving myself in these things. So those are ways to support. And thank you so much for everyone for being here. What else is going on? I'm trying to think. Obviously, 2 children. It's so funny, like being a mom now, you don't even realize how even text messaging takes time. Like you realize time in a way that you just don't until you are a parent. It's like everything goes into how to spend time. And there's like a schedule to your day. And even when you set a schedule, it doesn't matter if you set a schedule. Like the schedule's not, you know, set in stone. And even when I set a schedule, I'm still late to the studio or I don't end up being able to text someone back. And so if you're not a parent out there, please soak in all the time that you have. Because even texting is time. Like it's like legit time. Everything is time. And how do we spend our time? And, you know, ever since I became a parent, I'm hyper aware of that. And so I wake up to, you know, sometimes like 40 different messages. And it takes me, it used to take me about 2 days to get back to everybody. Now it takes me like 2.5 weeks. It takes me legit 2.5 weeks to get, and there's still some left out. There are some hangovers that don't necessarily, there's like a priority list that ends up happening and I still am not able to respond to everyone. So anyone who is in my inbox right now that I haven't responded to, this is my shout out. Welcome to the Munchies, Christina. Welcome to the Munchies. I don't have anything worthwhile to text people. You know, honestly, I mean, I don't really either. Like, wow, cool. I showered today and I was able to get out of the house to come here. And then it's right back into parenting, making food, eating. And oh, has anyone seen the new True Detective? I just started watching it and I'm personally in. I'm obviously only 2 episodes in, but
I've heard it's really good.
It's really good. It's with Jodie Foster. It's really, really, really good. I'm very curious what the chat has to say about it because I haven't watched the show since the first season, which was with obviously Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. And I loved that season. I mean, now Matthew McConaughey runs an alleged cult, but like Art of Living. God, we have to do an episode about that because it's out. It's Papa. Isn't it say something about, I have like a memory of something with Papa. But that first season was so good. And then I don't know, COVID happened, bunch of things happened, life happened. I didn't really watch it. And then I saw everyone talking about it on Twitter and on Instagram. And I watched the first episode and was right away, I was in. And Miko wasn't even able to watch it because he was working. Has anyone watched it in here? It's so scary though. So if you're spooked out easily, don't necessarily watch it because I have a high tolerance for the spooks, but I wasn't able to watch it last night. Like Miko was out of the house working and he was like, "Did you watch it?" And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna watch it when someone's not in the house." Like I was that spooked out that I was like, no. And I've been having weird dreams lately. And I don't know if any moms are here in the chat, but like ever since I had Nova, I don't dream anymore. It's so weird. I don't know if that's because I don't sleep enough. Like, that's probably it too. But I don't dream. It's so weird. And I used to really enjoy my dreaming. like analyzing it and remembering some of it or trying to remember some of it. Like that was a process in life, being human. And now I don't even dream anymore. But lately I've had, well, okay, here's another random fact about me. I suffered from like sleep paralysis. So I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but I suffered from like pretty severe sleep paralysis for a while. And then, it kind of drifted, it went away. Actually, one time I had a sleep paralysis dream of Wyatt was in my sleep paralysis, and he was like literally working on speakers. Like where I like slept where I last saw him, I like woke up, but in my dream, and Quiet was like working on my speakers, like underneath my TV. And then I started to realize it wasn't Quiet. Like, this is the craziest. This is years ago. I think this was like 2014 or 2013. And it was so weird. He came to hang out, left, and then the last like place that I saw him in the home, that's where I woke up to him there, but I was waking up in a dream. Has this ever happened to anyone? I know this sounds like so weird, but it's horrible sleep paralysis. And I was like, "What are you doing, Quiet?" And he wasn't answering. And then my whole body couldn't move. It was terrifying. And then I started to realize there was a dark presence in the room. And, you're trying to wake up, but you can't. Like, you're trying to move your arm, but you can't. And I'm also learning a lot of survivors actually do experience sleep paralysis. So I wonder if there is a correlation between trauma and sleep paralysis, but it's fucking wild. And I think that was almost my last sleep paralysis dream, at least the one that I can think of. And now fast forward, fell asleep on the couch, with the kids, and I'm starting to have weird dreams again. So trying to process that as well. Was that Elcon Hubbard? You think it was Elcon? Was it Elcon? I don't know. It was a really weird, it was witchy. Like there was a witch in my dream. And I don't know, I take dreams pretty seriously. I'm one of those people that just takes them seriously and then try to look for like symbols or clues of something or help in my life. So I'm dreaming again and I'm having sleep paralysis again. I'm trying to see in the chat if anyone suffers from this. Dude, sleep paralysis is terrifying. It's honestly, wait, let me see. Oh my God, yes, I love watching True Detective. Also highly recommend the crime drama Fargo from FX. You know what? I haven't seen the show, but I did. Do I say this here? Whatever. I dated a person who was on Fargo, who was on that show. And I actually went to the Golden Globes. The Harvey Weinstein story that I told you all about, which is so wild. I can't believe that was the first time I said that to the public. When I went to the Netflix party and Harvey Weinstein was there and had his assistant like come up to me and ask me to go sit at his table. Yeah, so I was dating someone at the time and they were on Fargo actually, and I still haven't seen the show. I've seen the movie. The movie's amazing. I really enjoyed the film, but I haven't seen the TV show. So maybe, God, I feel like every time I say I'm going to watch a show, I realize I'm a parent and I don't know if I'll be able to get around to it. I'm shocked that I'm able to watch the True Detective show, honestly, when the kids are asleep. And I'm barely making it through, only on episode 2. I used to watch shows legit almost like the entire season in one night. I was one of those. Like that show Dark on Netflix. I loved it. It's like a German show. It was so good. I think I watched all like 10 episodes. It's like so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I watched all 10 episodes in like one night. Legit one night. And Miko can definitely vouch for me. I was texting him like, you need to watch this show. And he was like, what episode are you on? I'm like, I'm already on 6. And he's like, what? But I'm one of those that like will binge.
I do that too.
You do it too.
I speed run shows.
I love it. I want to get lost in the world of the show.
Yeah, give it all to me like super.
Yeah. Just bring it all to me. I want to forget about my actual existence, honestly, at the moment, and just go deep into the show. I'm one of those. Ooh, I love Dark. Wait, someone knows what Dark is? It's so rare that someone knows that show. Shout out to, what is it, Alice Satan? Amazing screen name. Shout out. That show is so good. Wait, the end is the beginning and the beginning is the end. Yes, Miko. There's some fandom for you for the show Dark. It's so good. It's so good. So wait, what was I saying? Okay, so I'm obviously only on episode 2 and it's been like 4 days. So things have changed since becoming a parent. And so what else? What else is going on? I feel like that's really it. Starting to make the protest signs, being in the Discord community, doing the workshops, doing the lives. What else? Reading. I'm really enjoying Emergent Strategy, which is an incredible book that I'm including into the members' Fridays. It's so, so good. I can't wait to connect with everyone about that. That's pretty much it. And then just mommying it up. Diapers. Lots of diapers. Lots of diapers. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else personally going on in my life except realizing that CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO is, you know, back at her unaccountable self, which I thought I wasn't necessarily going to talk about her ever again, because I also thought she was not going to talk about me. You know, she totally avoided completely avoided everything that happened. And for those who are just tuning in for the first time or don't even know what the hell I'm talking about, I did an episode of Vulnerable, Christy's show. And it was the first, was it the first? Yeah, I think it was. It was the first platform podcast that I ever went on. And no, I guess I did talk to Sloan a little bit about it. Did I? I can't even remember. I think that was afterwards. Anyways, I think it was the first. And I went into pretty great detail about my childhood trauma, you know, on Nickelodeon and working with Dan Schneider. And obviously now the activism that I'm doing, you know, with eatpredators and protesting. And I never heard from CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO until after I protested Nickelodeon. And fun fact, or not so fun fact, I played CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO on Even Stevens. And I played her younger. And I never met her again. Never heard from her. Our paths, I guess, never crossed. And then literally a day after the Nickelodeon protest that went pretty viral, I got a DM from her and she was reaching out to me to be on her podcast. Now I look back and I'm like, okay, you know, it is what it is. She wasn't really reaching out like child star to child star to just be like, that is honestly how I felt when I received a message from CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO after everything.
That worked, but that wasn't the sound I meant to use. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought so. I was like, that
was a miss push on my part.
That was
It
definitely
worked still though, but
it did.
My bad.
No, it's just the sound of CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO.
What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah,
that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
What the fuck is this shit?
I mean, honestly, both really work when it comes to CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO. I'm not gonna lie. So, you know, my first conversation with her, we hopped on the phone. She, you know, let me know that she was bummed that, or she was actually upset that Jeanette McCurdy wasn't responding to her messages or her, like, you know, crew of execs. And she really wanted, I guess, Jeanette McCurdy to come on the show or do more action, and was even kind of comparing her to Allison Stoner's work. It was a weird conversation. Now, when I look back, like, I should have seen the red flags then, but, you know, was compassionate. And I thought she did care because she acted like she watched the protests, which awkwardly I find out in the interview with CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO, she did not even watch it. Like, they're very prominent things that happened throughout the protests. And when I was talking about them, like about Dan Schneider, like that you would remember, you know? And she didn't at all know what I was talking about. And so I realized, you know, obviously in hindsight, that she maybe didn't care in the most authentic way that I thought she did. And so fast forward, she asked me to sit down, and I come into the studio and I spend like, I don't know, like 3.5 hours of my life, you know, going through my trauma, talking to her about it. And this was really at the cusp of her, you know, relaunching her show, like after COVID with a set. And it was I think it was a bigger deal for her than I realized it was, because I was just there, you know, never saw her podcast before, honestly. I was there to just get the word out that this was what was happening at Nickelodeon. You know, this is what I went through, and, you know, I don't think I'm alone. And now after reading about Jeanette McCurdy, I definitely don't think I was alone, and we need to change, you know, set life. And for me, I don't think any kid should be on set, to be quite honest with you. And though if we are going to continue to do this, there needs to be change, you know, systemic change when it comes to child actors. And so it was really important for me to have the opportunity to sit down with Christy. And I felt like she was obviously a peer and that she would understand. And it felt very well fitted. Like it felt like it was right to be on that podcast. And boy, was I wrong. And, you know, for her, it was all about PR all of a sudden. I was getting like emails, her asking if my interview was an exclusive. And I'm like, no, your interview is not an exclusive. And I guess she was like talking to People magazine or something. And like, I guess an exclusive makes it cooler, or like, I guess media wants to be more a part of it if hers was an exclusive of what I was talking about. Like, no, this is not exclusive. I've already done an interview now with Victoria, and not Victoria Justice, Victoria Brown, Real Pod. Was that what it's called? Real Pod? And it already came out. And so, and there were things within the interview with CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO that I just didn't like. And so things had to be edited and taken out, and it, you know, made the episode come out later. And so when she was asking me if it was an exclusive, it's just weird to think about trauma being an exclusive. Like someone wants an exclusive on your trauma, you know, or like, you want an exclusive. I want my trauma to not be here. You know what I mean? Like, I wish my trauma would just not have happened, let alone an exclusive. And so I messaged her and I was like, no, it's not. And then she's like, well, I think mine's better anyways, or something like that about her episode with me. And I was like, okay. And that was already another red flag. And you know, the episode came out and it did get a lot of views. So much so that I'm pretty positive that's the podcast that Britney Spears watched and was part of the reason why, you know, Britney Spears ended up, you know, publicly apologizing to me, privately apologizing to me, then publicly apologizing to me. And listen, like it was it was just nice to have someone at the moment feel like they cared about what happened, and to be able to get all off my chest in what I thought was a safe environment. And, you know, that's what I thought at the time. And now fast forward, you know, I get word that, you know, CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO has problematic people on her show, and survivor friends are reaching out to me saying that the survivors of a specific person are not comfortable with this episode, and that they even reached out to CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO, and CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO left them all on red. Now listen, it's one thing if this is like a survivor, you know, in general, maybe sharing trauma with you, and you don't have necessarily the capacity to respond right away. We're human, right? This is not like we don't need to expect, you know, things that are not necessarily always possible. But you have to remember this survivor and the friend, you know, was reaching out because Christy put the alleged predator on her show and was making reels that were extremely triggering when it came to this individual, like looking at him in a flirtatious way. And, you know, there have already been articles out alleging that he did X, Y, and Z. There was snapshots of him tweeting at, this is all alleged, but there's snapshots of this that were in the article of him tweeting and flirting with children, like underage, you know, girls. And so that was disappointing to hear. And when they reached out to me, you know, as a survivor, I didn't like that because I felt that, you know, this was a space that was supposed to be safe for child stars, survivors, and I thought that that was something that CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO would honor and do the right thing. And so, you know, I reached out to Christy, let her know that I was now aware of this. And I told her that the survivors would like this video taken down and that it, you know, that they were left on red. And Christy admits to leaving the survivors on red and, you know, said that she didn't really know what to do with the information at the time. And I gave it grace. You know, this is not about punishment. This is about responsibility. You know, it's really responsibility over punishment. And I gave her that grace. And so I said, here's the article about this. And I would, you know, reach out to the survivors, let them know, and do the right thing, basically. And here's the information. She was like, I'll talk to my husband about it. Like, I don't know if that's good because apparently that's the husband that she did that whole just embarrassing interview with. But anyways, never really heard back from her. And it was just, it was disappointing. It was disappointing because there was actual snapshots, you know, of, you know, him flirting with underage girls. And so anyways, fast forward, I ended up tweeting, calling Christy in and out, you know, like definitely trying to show that I did not want to be on the same, I didn't feel right that I was on the same platform as someone who has these allegations, and it felt wrong. And, you know, instead of doing the right thing, CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO, well, she ends up doing the thing. She does end up deleting the Corey Feldman interview after my tweets, but she also then blocks me. So she blocks the survivor who, you know, was trying to guide her in the right direction to make the right choice and to listen to the survivors. And, you know, I'm like, okay, so she blocks me and then she deletes his interview. And then I find out that my interview is deleted. I'm like, wait a minute. So now you just lumped me up with the person who has allegations that are really, really scary and disturbing. And now I'm being deleted with him. And as a survivor, that was obviously extremely triggering because what? Like, why the fuck am I being lumped in with a person who has these allegations? I did not do anything wrong. Like, I was really trying to get you to do the right thing here. So whatever. She deletes my childhood trauma. I eventually came to terms with that. It was very heartbreaking. I did not like that. I felt like I did deserve an apology. I also thought that the survivors, the reported survivors of this individual also deserved an apology. But, you know, Christy never gave an apology and just went completely unaccountable when it came to this. And so I let it go. You know, you can't get people always to, accountability has to be, you know, consensual. The person has to be willing to get there. And when the person is not willing, you know, unfortunately, you have to go other ways through your healing journey. And so that's what I did. Now, fast forward, I'm doing a live the other day, and someone says that Christy Carlson Romano did this disclaimer on a recent episode of hers. And I'm like, disclaimer? Like, what the fuck does that mean? And so I wasn't able to watch it on my live. I think we were digesting Jared Leto at the time. Yeah, I think it was Jared Leto. And so I wasn't able to get into it. And then when I got home, I watched this disclaimer, and I was like, why is Christy, first of all, it was appalling and deeply disappointing, but I was like, why is Christy doing this now? And then the Discord community helped me realize why she chose this specific episode to, I guess, say this disclaimer, whatever the hell this is. And so we're going to get into that. Let's first watch what Christy has to say when it comes to the past. Yeah, let's just watch this thing. Okay, I'm gonna take a breath. Okay. All right, here we go.
We'll be having a wonderful guest, Joey GRACEFFA, on. Joey is a very highly successful YouTuber, an OG YouTuber, blogger, actor, author. He's written 4 books and a producer. He runs 4 active YouTube channels, and I can tell you that is a lot of work, but he is such a lovely...
I'm just curious if anyone in the chat is realizing who she is talking about, this Joey individual, because I'm not going to say anything yet, but I'm just curious if the chat is realizing who this is about.
We first met when I was looking to collaborate with people in the YouTube space. And I have like a, just a soft spot in my heart, because when I first started making videos, people didn't really know what I was about. And people were like, oh, she's like some girl from the, early 2000s. Like, what is she doing on YouTube? And he was so sweet and collaborative, and he's since been in everything that I've done.
Colleen Ballinger apologist is the first thing that I see happening in the chat. And you're like, where are you getting at, Christy? Please don't tell me you have another person on your show that is also extremely problematic. And now you're using what happened in the past to like buffer it or to explain your behavior. And because this individual, I guess, helped you on your YouTube journey, you're like, okay, shout out to this person. But like, did this person take accountability for their actions? Did their content age well in any type of way? When it comes to obviously Colleen Ballinger, it's like, oh God, here we go. And then Colleen Ballinger's brother. Okay, well, yeah, we'll get into that later. Okay, let's go.
And Joey very well could have like an ego, and I just feel like he's always been that person that you think to call because they're just so sweet and kind. I'm really proud of the work that he's done in the past with Escape the Night, which he has a really great...
Wait, I thought she was gonna say like his work with Colleen Ballinger. I was like, wait, where is this going? Where is this going?
Announcement that he'd like to make here on Vulnerable. We also just get into it about what it means to be a public person online.
You could tell she's just like stalling. She's like, I'm about to say the thing, and it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. You can tell it's like this is all a lead up and stalling, and she's not even looking at the camera, which I don't know. I usually remember her looking at the camera. I'm getting the vibes that she doesn't want to go here, but she does.
I do read the comments. It's something that I struggle with. I read everything. It's something that I think.
Whoa. Way that was said, I read everything. And listen, I understand that. Like being a child star, I'm showing total grace when it comes to Christy. The perfection, the pressure of being a child star is very much real. And it does become part of you as an adult, sadly. And this is because this was our childhood, right? And so I feel for her here. I understand that when, people are maybe saying something that's not in favor of her projection of who she wants to be, it could feel very vulnerable. No, yeah. Sorry. That's literally where my mind went. But vulnerable. And it's scary for sure. And accountability can be scary in the world that we live in because there's not a lot of space for that really yet. And people don't know how to deal with accountability. And there's a lot of work to go when it comes to that. But you think like when I was watching this, like, oh, is she going to say like, I understand what people are saying? No, because just to remind everyone, every time CHRISTY CARLSON ROMANO would be called in, because not everyone was calling her out in the comment section. Like people would send me snapshots, like on Twitter, like fans would send me snapshots of what they were saying to her. And it was like, apologize to Alexa, for deleting her trauma or things like this. And I see that more as a calling in. Like we want, people want someone to be better and also have hope in this person. And so I saw a lot of that where it was just, please apologize. And you know what CHRISTY would do? CHRISTY started blocking her own fans. I thought it was just going to be me who was blocked. But we're talking, I got over 100 DMs of fans. And these are people that built CHRISTY's. This is like, we're talking about, these are fans that helped build her podcast, and because now they're asking her to take the responsibility, apologize to people that she hurt. Instead of deleting the comment, she legit blocks them. And I mean, we're talking over 100. This was like everywhere on Twitter. This was all in my DMs. And, I wish I could say that it made me feel better in the sense where I was not the only person, being blocked like this shamelessly, but it didn't. It actually made me see her in a whole new light where I could tell that she wasn't allowing herself to accept constructive criticism. And when you're a child star, when anyone tells you maybe that what you're doing is not right, we take it as, oh, we might not get the job or we weren't good enough to get the call back. And that's our memory of criticism or direction. Direction was always for a job. It wasn't about us being human beings, like constructive direction where, whatever. So I understand, I have empathy for her. And though at the same time, these people didn't deserve to be blocked. I didn't deserve to be blocked. I definitely did not deserve to be deleted, to have my childhood trauma deleted. And this was a great opportunity for her to grow. I didn't think this is an opportunity for her to be erased or to be like, oh, this person can't be held accountable. I'm rooting for CHRISTY to do the right thing and to do the right thing and to apologize. But no, instead she was blocking all of her fans as well. And here she is now addressing this in just the fucking worst way possible. Here we go.
Upon turning 40, I will have to really address and stop giving a FUCK.
Okay, sure, with hater, like people that maybe diss you in a way that is not healthy or just doing it to be mean, for sure, 100%. But you're not talking about that. You're talking about survivors, people that you had on your show that you mistreated and that want an apology and you're not giving the apology. Wrong time for the I don't give an FUCK vibe. That's for when people are doing something that has nothing to do with something like this. You're just like, oh God, here we go. Okay.
Very much about what people think of vulnerable and, podco and big name bitches and like anything that I'm dedicating my time to. So much so that it hurts when people tell me like, okay, she's not doing enough research on her guests.
This is a Darvo tactic. Here comes the Darvo tactic where now she's saying how it hurt her. That what people were just telling you and giving you constructive direction when it comes to how to treat your guests, how to properly apologize. And instead, she's acting that it hurt her feelings. And now also shifting blame or like not taking accountability for the fact that she didn't research. Now, here's the thing. These survivors and the survivor's friend reached out to Christy. Christy left them on red. Then when I told, same thing. So you knew. This is not about research, Christy. This was about you knew and you did not do anything about it until you started blocking all your fans, I guess. Here we go.
And if she did, how could she let Trisha Paytas on or Tadra Call? You know, I've
This
had
music is, what is
mixed reviews on other guests
It's
as
so
well
bad.
that
It's
I've
so
had on.
bad.
And I've never thought to privatize videos unless somebody has
This
done
is like
some-
when you call, you know, like AT&T or something and you're like on hold and you're like, fuck. Like
Yeah,
this
100%.
is, you know
Like, God, I gotta listen to this for 45 minutes.
Totally. And then you have this, what she's saying at the same time. You're like, this combination is a nightmare. Like, get me out of here. Like, I'm still like this free frame. Show the screen. It's just how I feel actually right now. All right, let's go.
thing wrong to a minor. For me, my biggest
Wait,
issue is basically protecting kids. And
So you don't care about the adult survivors. You see what she did right there? She's like, my thing is about minors, because you have to remember my tweet to Christy at this time, or, you know, before this time, but what she's talking about is that I told her, like, you're a mom, like, you know, this guy is, look at this snapshot of him flirting with a 16-year-old girl, allegedly, you know, and okay, but you have to remember there are reported survivors that are adults, and this is so not okay that she disregards the adult survivors, and where she draws the line personally is children. And it's like, but you didn't draw the line there either, Christy, because in the article that I sent you when you left us all on red had that snapshot in it. And you still didn't do anything when it was children. So, oops, you know, like, I don't know if that's where you draw the line. And then on top of it, the child star who shared their childhood trauma on your show, you delete, you block, and you don't apologize, and you show zero accountability. And you're like, come on. This is, you know, BS. Hi, Meredith. Welcome to the Chef's Kiss. I mean, this is BS, Chrissy. And you know it. Look how you're looking down. This is awkward for me watching this because I can just feel the feelings that are happening. This is a shame.
There's like those YouTube channels that just watch crime interviews and then do like analysis on
like body language.
Body language.
Yep.
People.
Oh no, this body language is like, I'm just gonna do this because the person that now I have on my show in this episode is problematic. And you're like, oh God, you're still not learning. Okay, all right, let's come on, Christy. You gonna get there?
That sort of informs a lot of the decision making on why I would privatize a video or take down a piece of content, which I have done for 2 celebrities that were Disney and Nickelodeon stars on my YouTube. And I guess I don't need to say their names, but I personally
say my name.
Feel like while this is
No,
my
don't do a
class-
sly. That was like so sly. She's like, I'm not gonna address this person. It's like, what's the point of all of this if you're not gonna address the reported survivors that you left unread, etc., and the person that asked for an apology, that went on your show, spent hours of their life being vulnerable and sharing their childhood trauma with you, and now it's just a Nickelodeon star that you deleted. This is not it either. This is so not it. What is this? This is not accountability. No, this is not an apology. This is not even really necessarily kind. Not even saying my name, avoiding it. It's just really a shame. This would be a perfect opportunity for you to just say, I did the wrong thing, or I was impulsive. It's okay to be human. This is what I don't understand with her. It's okay to be human. It's okay to make a mistake. It's just responsibility. Take responsibility and do the right thing. But she's still not doing it. It's just wild. And this music. Who put in this music? All right, let's go.
It is also a really great show to have neutral conversations with people who've had really interesting life journeys. And I create sort of a safe space for people to kind of talk and be vulnerable on.
You
I don't
do
try to
not create a safe space. You just proved to the world recently that the space is not safe because when you power flex or you feel that you're being held accountable for something, you delete people's trauma. And if you care about minors or you care about children, and this is now the seat you're taking, that was childhood trauma you deleted. You thought that that was okay to do. That wasn't okay to do. That is not a safe space, Christy. Your own actions prove that that is not necessarily a safe space for trauma of any kind, honestly. So, wait, did someone, I saw that, was that the third chef's kiss? Was that Meredith? Wait, hold on. Meredith is the giveaway winner. I'm pretty positive, right? That was the third chef's kiss.
I think so.
I think it was.
Yeah,
Meredith.
show the sign. We didn't even show the sign.
I know. Wait, I'm pulling it
She
over.
also said she was gifted a membership, so I don't know what that.
The Base Nectar protest sign that I'm sure people in the Discord definitely recognize is going to Meredith. And honestly, this is one of my favorite signs, which I'm thinking maybe I'm going to swap one of them out actually and put this one. Which one do you think that I should swap out behind me? Let me know in the comments, like, which one should I be swapping out and putting this one? But Meredith, please send to eatpredators@gmail.com an address for us to send this out to you. And thank you so much for being here. Yay, Meredith. I know this sign is like honestly one of my favorites. And it literally was almost like a carbon copy of Base Nectar's actual Instagram post about cancel culture. And so if you haven't seen that embarrassing post, definitely check it out and see how we revamped it. Sorry, Base Nectar, not sorry. Oh, okay, Christy. Okay, Meredith. Oh, and wait, there's someone, and I saw there's a new, and then Kali Gray. Welcome to the Chef's Kiss, Gray.
I think it's just Callie.
Kali. Sorry. Some of the spelling, I'm pretty bad with names, you guys. So please forgive me. I don't.
Maybe it's Kelly.
Yeah, maybe just put exactly how to pronounce it in the chat. All right, let's get through this. I want to get through this. Okay, let's get through this.
Too much about the ramifications of putting them on the air. I know that there's a responsibility that I have, which will come in time. So, for example, if something were to come out,
oh, that's what it is.
I would definitely.
I was wondering why my screen was looking like. I don't know if anyone even noticed this. Wait, watch this. Is it gonna disappear? Dun, 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 dun. Wait, what do you mean that will come with time? How much more time do you need? How many more people do you need to block? How many more people do you need to block till what's happening? Time. All right.
Something down.
This music is killing.
I guess that's all my way of saying, I do see everything.
You do?
And, I am very serious about creating a safe space.
No, you're not.
To have open dialogues. And I don't believe that,
no, you're not.
People should police your content.
This is not about policing your content, Christy. This is about not having people on your show that aren't necessarily being vulnerable with you, if you know what I mean. You have survivors on your show being vulnerable with you, and then you have people who have allegations of harming other people, not being honest, not being held accountable for their actions, not taking responsibility, and it looks like it's rubbing off on you. You know what I mean? Like it's starting to look like that behavior is rubbing off on you, not taking accountability for your actions and not actually being vulnerable. I can't believe the show is called Vulnerable and you're still not being vulnerable.
It's very ironic.
It's so
Every
ironic.
time she says it, I'm like, wait, what?
I know. It's like, just be vulnerable. Just say, I'm sorry. That's what vulnerable. I'm sorry. I won't make, I'll be mindful moving ahead and I'm
I made
sorry.
a mistake. I'll do better.
Correct. And then it's like, da-da. And people would appreciate that and say, sorry for blocking your fan base that built your podcast, by the way. That is gnarly.
I was acting out of emotions is
Correct.
always a good.
And impulsive. Impulsive.
Not
It was
to be confused with the podcast.
not to be confused. True. But shh. All right, Christy, let's see. Come on, make it through.
And YouTube probably doesn't think that either because they generally keep things up that they really shouldn't keep up.
Oh, no, she's
so
going there.
I am a creator first and foremost. I'm a producer of content, and in this case, an audio podcast as well as a visual podcast.
I'm only hearing the
So,
music. I
I know
can't
it's
even.
so
I
Dude,
really
the
appreciate
music
the support.
is she trying to distract
It's
us all
so
with the
loud.
music?
I don't. It's louder than she is.
I know. It's drowning her out. It probably was so awkward without the music. I can't even imagine it without the music, honestly, too, though.
Well, I
It's
wonder,
like-
did they put it on, but like in post, or did they do it?
They put it
Like,
post.
Yeah.
It's
funny.
totally post because the editor was like, "This is bad." Like, maybe if I add some waiting, like, what is it called, like elevator music to this, like people won't.
It's like it's hold music.
This is. So... I'm sorry, Christy, but this is still not it. What is going on? That's all I'm hearing. Okay.
I do get from everybody listening. I am certainly
The spa music.
not a journalist.
Spa!
I'm
That's it.
not a perfect person.
Totally it.
But what I feel like I've
I saw someone in
created
chat
in
say
my
that.
listeners.
Wait, did
and the
someone say
people that-
spa music? It's totally spa music, but this is. With this, it's so cringe. Like, this is beyond, I'm going to use the word cringe, and I sometimes like to avoid that word, but this is cringe. Like, the music and her mixed together, like, this is legit cringe at this point. You're just like, no, 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 no. Where are you going with this? And apologize to at least, not even me, forget about me, honestly, at this point. Please just apologize to the survivors or your fan base that literally you're blocking away over there. God, okay, all right.
are loyal and why Vulnerable has stayed on the top charts for so long from
Wait, no, she's not going into how successful the show is.
I feel like
Now?
everyone I feel like every podcast or like show that I watch, it's they always. We should just start saying that. Like we're the number one for something
True, that's
in the
so
world.
true.
And we'll just say we'll just,
How can
we'll just
everyone
say
be
that.
number one?
Well, you just say you're number one at just whatever the fuck you want to be.
Okay, eatpredators Daily is number one at I can't even do it, dude. I legit can't even do it.
We'll come up with something. We'll come up.
Well,
with
okay,
any
we'll come
ideas,
up
you
with
can put 'em in the
something.
chat. We'll,
But this is-
we'll
no,
be
but-
the number one something.
But this is where she should have been apologizing, and instead she's starting to brag about how popular the show is. It's so bad, Christy. Ah! She might have to take another video down. I'm kidding. Can you imagine if this gets taken down? She has to take this one down too. But honestly, I would have taken this one down more than mine, in the sense where I was vulnerable on your show. Like, this is maybe one that you should be taking down. This is so cringe. I'm sorry. All right.
months and months is a sign to me that you guys are enjoying these open conversations that I'm having with very dynamic people, for better and for worse. But just know that
For better or for worse, she did not. This is, what is the chat saying? Is this, I mean, how does it drop that in there at this? Wait. This is she just she honestly showed that she's very performative in her allyship, and she doesn't know how to become an actual ally. Instead, like, accountability is a practice, Christy. and I just want to, if she does happen to be watching this or watch it, it's a practice. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Okay? Accountability is a practice. What makes you stuck in the place that makes you feel uncomfortable about how people are viewing you, you're choosing to stay stuck there because you're not moving through it. You're not taking accountability and transforming and changing. You're choosing to stay. And that's why this is so cringe to watch, is because it's like you're in the mud. You're just like, I'm going to stay in this mud. And it's like, come on, get out of the mud here. You don't need to stay there, Christy. We're all waiting for you. Or I am, I guess. Okay.
I would do the right thing. But the right thing for some people may be based on their triggers and their personal issues. And so
now she's escaping accountability, putting it onto the people that she's harmed or hurt. Come on, that's not it either.
Thank you for your support. And also, I hope that you guys enjoy Joey GRACEFFA. He's a really great guy, and he has a really great announcement for us.
No!
Hey, what's up, Joey?
Hello. It's been so long.
Do you remember
You
that was
guys.
the funniest
Oh,
thing
no.
You
that you
guys,
said?
pause. Okay, that is the most wild turnaround, is that I guess it's this person named Joey. And when I was trying to figure out like why, first of all, that was so awful to watch. And the music made it, I don't know if it made it worse or not, but like it felt like it made it a lot worse. But I was like, okay, why is she choosing, this episode when it comes to addressing and not addressing whatsoever the past of what happened on the Vulnerable podcast? And then the Discord community started to let me know that the person that she is having on her show is, I guess, this individual, Joey, who is, I guess, a problematic YouTuber, and collaborated with Colleen Ballinger, in the past, and also Sean Dawson. Is that how I say that person's name? Oh, Shane Dawson. See, this is how out of the loop I am when it comes to YouTube. Shane Dawson. And, when the allegations came out, I mean, also just like straight up screenshots about Colleen Ballinger, Joey didn't really seem to say anything when it came to these individuals coming forward about Colleen. And so I'm like, okay, who is Joey? What did Joey do something extremely problematic? Well, you guys, should I show it? I mean, I'm gonna wait for the chat for a second. I'm like kind of uncomfortable to even show it because it's pretty it's really not good. And now it makes sense. She's like, I'm gonna just stay though, as the person that I've been for quite a while and continue to have problematic people on my show that don't take accountability like myself and erase survivors that speak up against me. It's like, oh, wow, that was the hill, huh? You chose. That was literally the hill. All right, I'm just gonna show it. Let's just watch it for a second. So I guess this is Joey. And this is Shane.
Wait, look at where it is on this.
Oh, yeah. Can I put it here? Okay. Okay. Is that good? Or lower? Okay. All right, you guys.
My hair. So first we're gonna start out with foundation. It's a little darker than your skin tone.
No.
That's natural and subtle?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Natural and subtle for Queen Latifah.
Okay, so we're
Oh my God. So they're literally aware. This is Joey. This is the next guest on the Vulnerable podcast. Really, Christy? Woo! I don't even know how this gets worse with you. This is making me like I'm sweating a little bit. Like it's making me, now I know maybe she was more uncomfortable going through that because of where the camera was going to pan into who. Maybe she wasn't even that uncomfortable about not apologizing or taking accountability. Maybe she was really uncomfortable about the fact of who she was about to host on her show. This is so bad, you guys. I mean, this is all right. Let's go.
Just gonna. Oh my god. I can't do this. This is really bad. I didn't realize it was gonna be this dark. Okay, I'll just blend it.
Oh yeah, just blend it. This is gonna get really racist.
I know.
They did not just laugh at racism. These two white individuals laughing at racism.
It's
And thi-
already racist, guys.
Yeah, correct.
It's just
Straight up racist. It's already racist. I mean, this person already said, was Queen Latifah? Like, they're aware of what they're getting into here. This is so beyond disturbing. Did this person ever apologize? I'm gonna like just talk to the chat here. Like, I
Who's
did.
Shane?
I mean, I know Shane did that whole apology thing, but has Joey? Like, is there an apology?
I've never even seen that guy before. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. Neither have I until Christy Carlson Romano is platforming this individual. I mean, if someone has a link to Joey's okay, then he used to be. You got to understand that being her real life friend, it's hard to wrap your head around someone doing something so gross. Well, I mean, of course there is when you take accountability, and that's what people hope for. But I couldn't find anything where Joey said anything in regards to supporting the individuals that came forward against Colleen Ballinger. Couldn't find that. And I really couldn't find Joey saying anything about this video specifically. So if anyone, I'm giving the opportunity for an apology video when it comes to Joey, but I personally didn't see any on the internet, but I could be wrong. Let's watch like 5 more seconds and then I'm getting the fuck out of here. Christy, if you're watching this, like, what the hell, dude?
Wait, I see a number one. Chris says, "Eat Predators is #1 podcast on the planet." Thank you all for inspiring.
Chris! Wait, Chris is amazing. Chris helped with the...
I thought of one too. #1 survivor-centric show on the planet.
Survivor-centric show. Should I start it like... Is that how I should? That's maybe how I should start it every time. And the ones who know will know. You know what I mean? The ones who know will definitely know. I thought there was going to be an apology from Joey, but that's the sound of #1 podcast. That's the sound of a #1
survivor-centric show. Yeah, no,
right, because we're not a podcast.
Survivor-centric show
I don't have anyone else on this.
in the world.
Oh, maybe #1 international. What #1 show in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, that works. I need a t-shirt with it, honestly, just to really boost the whole thing. I mean, this is fucked up, you guys. I'm sorry. Am I overreacting? Like, this is the person she has on the show while she's talking about the bad stuff she's done, the not, I mean, I don't want to say bad. I actually don't like that word when it comes to just not nice things that she has done in the past where she's unaccountable for them. And why is she choosing this episode? Well, it seems like she knows. And again, she's saying like, I haven't done the homework. Like, I don't know if in this episode, maybe Christy does talk to him about his past or Joey's when it comes to Joey's apology. Wait. Oh, there is an apology? Hold on, let me see.
Here, look, I got it.
I got it here too.
Okay, I'll put it on yours.
Let's see. Joey apologizes for old video with Shane Dawson. Thoughts? Oh no, I'm scared to read it. I want to address a clip that has recently resurfaced from a 2013 collaboration video for Shane Dawson's channel. Notice how Joey's choosing to put the year. Don't put the year, dude. People who don't want to be held accountable for things always want to talk about how long ago it was when they harmed somebody. Trauma for the survivor of anything, there's no time like that. It's like, don't do that. That's the worst, is when you see someone do an apology and be like, it was 2013. It already makes you feel guilty for addressing it. And I don't like that. So that's red flag. Whoop, out. Don't like that one. Shane Dawson's channel that was deleted many years ago. There's the second one. Not excuses, accountability. And not like trying to defend it, just go straight to the point. The video being circulated was from a makeup challenge where I ignorantly chose an improper shade of foundation. I mean, you guys were, which led to Shane making some racist jokes. Some? Okay, well, there's the next one. Wait, okay, so we have how many now? 1, 2, 3, and ignorantly, I don't like, that one too, I don't like it. Why don't you get right to the apology? Although these jokes made me uncomfortable, I was also complicit. And at the time, you didn't look uncomfortable. You were laughing, but like in the real way of like in the laugh, like laughing, like Brandon Quinn, bah-ha-haing. Like it was straight up a laugh.
You looked at, the whole thing looked very comfortable.
You looked very comfortable. It was like, oh, whatever. Like Queen Latifah.
This is what we do.
This is what we do. I was too intimidated to call out these offensive remarks. Nope. You're trying to do the dart. You are making yourself into nope. Ignorant. Nope. Looking back, I am so disappointed and embarrassed. Looking back, this is serious. That was really serious. Looking back, I am so disappointed and embarrassed in my own ignorance and cowardice. I take full responsibility for my mistakes. That's how it should have just been. So right here, by the way, Joey, is where it begins. So you just go here, not even looking back. So don't do looking back. So I'm going to edit it for you. Just start with, I am so disappointed. Maybe just horrified by myself. But I'm so disappointed and embarrassed in my own ignorance, just behavior and actions. I take full responsibility for my mistakes and for not putting a stop to what was happening right then and there. I am deeply sorry to those who were offended and disappointed by my participation. You chose the foundation. Wasn't it Joey who chose the foundation? Wait, I thought that's what I saw in the video. Was that? I thought it was like, what do you mean participation? You chose the foundation color here. You initiated this. Offended, disappointed by my person. Well, it was taken down many years ago. Here we go again. Internet lives forever on the internet. This still serves as a lesson that these issues should never be taken lightly, no matter what age you are. Then why'd you start that whole paragraph with that nonsense filler above? I know I have lost trust with many of you, although I am not owed anything. I ask you all for the opportunity to earn your forgiveness, as I have grown so much since then. I hope to regain your trust moving forward by continuing to use my platform to advocate against injustice while educating myself along the way. That was okay. Okay, so there's you know what? This seems like more maybe Christy can learn a thing or two from Joey here when it comes to making a public apology and taking, accountability for your actions. I wonder if they have a conversation. If someone could maybe tell me in the chat if they have a conversation about what happened there and how Joey chose to take some type of accountability for his actions and if they move through that. But I feel like this episode doesn't really go into any of that whatsoever. Also, okay, I can't even do it. They literally put the entire, it's just not good. Not good whatsoever. So then here's also, I found this, I don't know what the fuck's happening here, but I just pulled it up. Let's just show this really quickly. So here's Joey with Colleen Ballinger. Theater mode? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that works. Thank you. So I don't know what this is. It's red in the bath. It's Colleen Ballinger freaks me out. Like any freeze frame of Colleen, honestly freaks me out. But here Joey is with Colleen.
It's me, Miranda. Today I'm here with Joey, GRACEFFA, and focus on.
Almost.
Joey and I are gonna take a Slurpee bath together. These are my favorite types of baths, and if you've been following me a long time, you know I love a Slurpee bath.
What the fuck is this?
Let's go! Stop it!
What is happening?
What is happening?
But you geek! I'll wash out your mermaid hair!
Whoa!
This is a very inappropriate.
Oh, gorgeous.
What is this shit? I'm sorry, I don't get it.
This is not content.
This is not content. I don't even understand what this is. Okay, so we found an apology. Not the greatest apology, but an apology nonetheless when it comes to Joey about that. I did not find anything when it comes to Colleen Ballinger. If someone can send me, what is this?
What are your thoughts about?
Oh
Rachel
yeah, that's
Kirkconnell
literally
and
that.
Alex-
Not a good look in 20. I'll pull that up. That's horrible. But that is actually very play at 44 seconds. Yeah, I mean, this is basically what it was. I should show this.
What
Wait,
are
where
your
is it? Do you guys
thoughts
know The
about
Bachelor?
Rachel Kirkconnell and the
I wonder who. Wait,
allegations
44
attached to her?
seconds.
A couple of things. First and foremost, I
Let's
don't
see.
know. I haven't
Oh,
talked to
here it
Rachel about
is.
it. And-
Go.
and this is again a sorority party 5 years ago.
Here we go. See how when specifically white individuals apologize for things, they always love to talk about it in reference of years and how long ago it was when maybe something happened, or and it's like, why start it with that? Just take accountability. Here.
Until I actually hear this woman have a chance to speak, who am I to say any of this? I saw a picture of her at a sorority party 5 years ago.
5
and
years.
That's it. Like, boom. Like, okay, well, this girl is in this.
It
book.
was so bad, by the way. This is even giving the context, Miko, of like what was happening there. But you see how he's framing it. It's like, this was 5 years ago and bam, this just is what it is. And like, what's the big deal? David! Wait, what? Am I for real saying that? Or am I David? Why isn't my... David, hope this helps with the upcoming protest, Alexa. David, thank you so much. That just got the entire packet of paper. By the way, the paper that literally just covered the entire stack of paper. Thank you so much, David. You're so sweet. David is just honestly like, and such an incredible poet as well. Thank you so much, David. You are truly amazing. Thank you so much for being here with David completely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was interesting timing when it came to this Chris Harrison. I was like so deeply disturbed. And whenever David comes out, I'm like, oh, wow. Gifting memberships to people, like growing the community. You're just so amazing, David. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, I mean, this is like a typical thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is typical behavior when it comes to privileged individuals having to take accountability. Justin Long did it too. When I came forward about Jonah Hill, Justin Long was like, this was over 10 years ago, or like, it was nearly a decade ago. And it's like, F you, man. Like, this is not the way. Like, this is just not it. So, okay. So now we get why, Christy felt possibly the need to address these things before, Joey came on to the Vulnerable podcast, because it seems like it's just repeating, honestly, the same type of behavior. And, Christy, this was still not it. I wanted to address it because survivors are still hurt by your behavior. You have not apologized to anyone. Joey has. Maybe you can learn a couple of things. Wait, I paused it at what? Did I miss something? Oh, right. I paused it at the point you're saying. Let me see. Miko really needs this to be seen to the world right now. This needs to be seen. Here it is. Here.
And that's it. Like, boom. Like, okay, well, this girl is in this book now, and she's now in this group. And I'm like, really? Okay, well, there goes.
The picture was
3/4
from 2018 at an Old South antebellum party. So I think, when
you're like, ooh, this is such an awkward conversation, but then here it goes.
It's
when
not,
you hold that
that's
under
not
the
a good
lens,
look. not a good look.
No, it's not a good. Well, Rachel, is it a good look in 2018 or is it not a good look in 2021?
Oh, it
Because
was
there's a big-
never a good look. Like, it's so bad that I can't handle it. Nico. I don't even want to be reminded of that shit. That was the most, that's why I got fired, by the way. Or as they like to say in these jobs, resigned, you know, or step down or took leave or whatever the fuck, fired. And I think, guess who? Oh, guys, and guess who Chris Harrison's lawyer was? I can't even believe I forgot this part too. Chris Harrison's lawyer is, oh wait, I think I just saw, David gave 20 memberships. David, you are so sweet. Oh my God, everyone, whoever is not a member in here and wants to be a member, please take a note that I guess David, I think they just get given out, right? At random. I see it now.
Yeah, they get randomly
Now they
given out.
show me. Before it used to not show me when someone would get it. It would never alert me to that. But now it is alerting me.
It says everyone, yeah.
It's Brian Friedman. I see Becca. Yes, Chris Harrison's freaking lawyer is Brian Friedman. And it's like, oh God, he's back. He's back again. He's back again. So, God, Chris Harrison, I want to forget all about you. He's gone. There's a new host now, and everyone's forgotten about Chris Harrison. Brian Freeman could not really save his career, it looks like, in my opinion, because that was pretty bad. And it's not about, again, like I saw Chris there trying to state, like, you know, this person's going to be put into a box. Like, again, accountability is a process. You either want to go through the process or you want to stay in the place, in the box that these people keep mentioning. They're the ones choosing to be in the box. It's just take accountability and do better, be better, and actions speak louder than words. And then it's done. Okay, so Christy, that was that was a whole bunch of just performative, not good. You talked about how your show is the #1 show. It was like super awkward. It wasn't apologetic whatsoever. The survivors are still hurt by your behavior. You haven't said sorry to anybody. You acted like none of this ever happened. You blocked everyone. You block your fans. And it's just a wreck. And then you also had legit waiting. What do you even call that? When you're waiting to like talk to someone on the phone? I don't even know. It's not elevator music, but it's, what is it?
Spa hold music.
Spa hold music the entire time underneath whatever the fuck that was. So moving on. Hopefully Christy eventually comes around. I'm still rooting for you, Christy, by the way. I really am. I think you can do it. I really do think you can do it. And I hope that one day you do. I'm holding space for you. I'm holding space for you. And still calling you in, okay? I'm still calling you in, and I hope that you're able to take some type of accountability for your actions and not feel like it's that's who you are forever, right? Not. Okay, so moving on to Pretty Little Liars. And you know what's weird? It's like I didn't even plan for this to happen, but now, so obviously Lindsay Shaw is in Pretty Little Liars. But we're not talking about Lindsay Shaw today. So, you know, that just was a coincidence in the whole thing. We're not talking about Lindsay Shaw whatsoever. We're talking about how Pretty Little Liars, as this question says here on this video, is did Pretty Liars broom us? And to be honest with you, after watching this video and after looking at things online, I mean, honestly, yes. And what was really appalling to me is the fact that the showrunner of the show is a woman. Not that women can't be problematic. It just shocked me because I just pictured like a bro showrunner that was allowing these things to just go amok. You know, I didn't really picture a woman, especially when it comes to exploitation of the teens, because also when this show started, which was in 2010, sadly, there weren't that many female showrunners. There wasn't. Most showrunners were male during that time. I wonder what it's like now. I wouldn't be surprised if honestly it hasn't changed much. But from my memory of that era, it was just like a lot of male showrunners. And so realizing this was a woman and realizing how committed she was to this storyline when it came to, what is it? What's the people? I can't even remember. It's Lucy Hale's relationship, which, by the way, we don't want to use the word necessarily. Ezra and Arya. That's right. See, I don't know the show that well, so bear with me. But it's Ezra and Arya. And this showrunner was so committed to this plot line to the point where she would legit tell people that they were soulmates. Like legit soulmates. And as a survivor of grooming at the age of 16, you know, my predator legit would use that language, you know, soulmates. And this person really breaks down like how dangerous that language is, obviously, when it comes to children. And honestly, even when it comes to adults, when it comes to predators preying on adults using this language, because soulmates makes you almost feel like what Sloane Stowe said here is that soulmates is almost above logic, right? It's above law. It's like this thing, you know, that you can't explain. It's not logical. It's not rational. And it could make you put a lot of things to the side, essentially. And that's what's dangerous about that word. Not that you can't feel like someone is your soulmate. I believe that we do feel those feelings. And sometimes we feel like we have multiple soulmates in a lifetime. But what I'm saying is when the wrong person uses that, right? A predator is using that term. They know what that word is going to do psychologically to the victim, to the person that they are preying on. And so, you know, all right, let's look at least what Pretty Little Liars is. I mean, I know I'm like such a mom here. I'm like, let's look at the Wikipedia of Pretty Little Liars. That's how much I did not know about the show. But just to let everyone know here, it's a TV show, came out in 2010, June 8th, and it aired until June 27th, 2017. It was on ABC Family. It's Lucy Hale was in the show, and I actually knew Lucy Hale when I was younger. She would come to a lot of my house parties, actually, and I knew her through David Henry. I think I knew her through David Henry. But anyways, Lucy Hale, Ashley Benson, and all of these individuals. Are we showing this on the screen? Okay. I wanted to make sure. I was like, am I tripping? So this is the list, basically. And when it comes to all of these actors, they were what'd you say? Oh, yeah. So here's the starring list. But the thing with this cast list is that in Hollywood, when you get to the age of 15, you can take a proficiency test and technically work adult hours. Now, that was something that managers pushed me, honestly, and my mom to do. Like, I already wanted to graduate early. But the industry was saying that I wouldn't be able to play teenage roles because teenage roles are now given to people over the age of 18 so that they could work longer hours on set. And no one talks about this. Who the fuck is that? It's like random person Tyler showing. But it's pretty interesting to think about that, because when you watch like the OC, for example, and you watch all these different shows that were on CW, that were on, all of these different networks, you think you're watching teenagers. You think you're watching 16-year-olds. You're not. You're watching 20-year-olds playing teenagers. And also one of the reasons for that, I think, is that they put these teenager roles in these situations, right? And those situations are better to do to people who can legally, you know, whatever. You get where I'm going with this. But if a kid's watching it, they think, oh, this is a teenager. You know, this is what a 16-year-old looks like. This is what a 16-year-old acts like. And no. Most actors that are on these shows are over the age of 18 and usually over the age of 20. And so when you see them in these situations, because of how they look, it's maybe also not as jarring, right? It's not as jarring to see, you know, the dynamic between Ezra and Arya. Arya. When they're only 3 years apart, technically. In real life, they're only 3 years apart age-wise. And so you're not really going, this looks really bad, because it technically doesn't look really bad age gap-wise. But if you were to actually see Lucy Hale, for example, at the age of 16, and then you see the male role at the age of 23, now it's starting to look real and problematic. Or I think he's actually supposed to be like 24 or 25 in the script, but you get what I'm saying. So it makes it look less jarring because of the age gap in real life. And it's really kind of scary to think about, because I think about a lot of the shows that I grew up watching from the OC, you know, all of those shows. And I thought that's what teenagers looked like, acted like, and then you realize a lot of them were 25 years old, like playing 16-year-old roles and being in these situations. It just very, very weird. So, okay, Pretty Little Liars, female showrunner, ABC Family, based on books. I'm going to pull up, and I want to give a shout out actually to this YouTuber, Sloan Stowe. I think that's how you say Sloan's last name, and it's not the Sloan that we usually are mentioning. But this person I reached out to, letting them know that I'm going to be giving a shout out and showing parts of this video, because they really broke it down so incredibly. And I think we should kind of maybe get some popcorn and listen to bits and pieces of this and comment on it, because it was really mind-blowing and really framed the entire situation perfectly, and also educated me a lot when it came to what was going on behind the scenes. So let's get into this.
Subscribe to the channel. I just dropped the link in the chat. So.
Oh, yep. And please subscribe. I'm already subscribed.
Yeah, like the video.
Oh, wait, I haven't even liked it?
Let's go.
Oh, there we go. Wait, how did I subscribed and then forgot to like. But yeah, everyone subscribe to Sloan, like the video. It is so freaking good. Okay, here we go. Let's get into this. Here's Ashley Benson.
The girls all have individual storylines. For 16-year-old Arya, she meets some college grad named Ezra in a bar before school starts. They hit it off and make out in the bathroom. But on the first day of school, Arya realizes that Ezra is her English teacher, Mr. Fitz.
And also, why is it so low? I can't really hear it that
turn it up
that well, but maybe I need to do it on theater mode, right? And then maybe I can...
Yeah, make that wider.
But why is it still acting like this? This is still... Like, look how much screen is not showing. I don't really like that. Wait, go. What's going on here, dude?
Take it out of theater mode.
I can't even get to theater mode. Where is theater? This?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why is it not letting me minimize it? All right.
What?
I'm just going to refresh it, because that's just
7 million unique viewers, making it an instant hit. In the pilot, the girls all have individual storylines. For 16-year-old Arya, she meets some college grad named Ezra in a bar before school starts. They hit it off and make out in the bathroom.
That's already no. Like, that's already just no. Because the scene that I saw, like, you can tell he's definitely older than her, and the whole thing is just like kind of obvious in my opinion. Even regardless of the 3-year whatever age gap, it still feels super awkward.
Arya realizes that Ezra is her English teacher, Mr. Fitz.
Oh!
Unfortunately, they don't end it there. Look, I don't want to underplay anything, Arya and Ezra's relationship, or Ezria, was incredibly popular with fans. I'm talking blogs, fan fiction. I can't even count how many.
See, this is already like why this is so problematic and not good. Is because look at how many kids out there, teenagers, kids, are already trying to relate to these characters, you know, admiring them, looking up to them, thinking this is the epitome, like, you know, this is the example of true love, soulmates, and this is predatory behavior. This is illegal. This is not okay. This is absolutely unacceptable. And Pretty Little Liars really tried to put the whole thing into this example of teacher-student issue, when it's like, no. This isn't a teacher-student issue. This is an adult-child issue. And Pretty Little Liars definitely did not want people to catch on to that fact. But let's continue here.
1,000 Years by Christina Perry grainy edits there are of them on YouTube. There is a lot of debate on Ezra Fitz's actual age. In the books, I don't think Ezra's age is
Oh God, I
explicitly
remember the
stated,
books
but he's
though.
assumed to be-
Those books were everywhere, guys. I totally remember those books everywhere, lined up at Borders. Just like, read me. I didn't really read them. I think I bought them, but I never read them.
in his early 20s, presumably at least 22 because we know he graduated from college. The general consensus in the fandom, as stated on forums and the show's fan-made wiki page, is that at the start of the show, Ezra Fitz is 22 years old. I can't find a particularly valid source to back this up. I don't know if someone attempted the math with the show's skewed timeline or what, but
or like ABC Family was like, what's an age that doesn't feel, 22?
22 seems to be the popular number floating around the fandom. However, it is inaccurate. In the pitch document that Marlene King created, Ezra Fitz is 25 years old. In the pilot script, his age is lowered to 24, and that seemed to stick in the two drafts I made.
Shame on ABC Family. Because in the script, it's not like the writers are just saying, like, this is the teacher and this is the student. They put a fucking age. They put an age, 25 years old, and Lucy Hale's role is 16 years old. And this is like the love story of the show from what I'm seeing here. This is so fucked up. All right. In the script.
Managed to get my grubby little hands on. The most recent revision dated a month before they shot the pilot. So, I think it's safe to speculate that that's close to, if not the final draft. In both of these versions, Arya is 16. I don't think I could find a more accurate or canonical source than the script. Not that anyone who worked on the show is going to jump at the opportunity to correct the socially somehow more acceptable 22. But honestly, all of this
22, 25, 24, 21, 20 literally doesn't matter. It is bad regardless. Like, this is shocking. This is pretty shocking. Even for ABC Family, I'm like, well, now I'm getting why you changed your name to Freeform, because this is not looking good for a family network or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Also, the marketing of the teenagers was like making them like into adults. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but like the ads, they were like almost in lingerie. It feels like when they were like 16. And that's just, all right.
Splitting hairs over Ezra's age is really just beside the point. The point, of course, being that he is an adult in every version. And it's a little disturbing, the notion that adults could have potentially sat down and tried to find the sweet spot between a plausible high school teacher's age and what age would be deemed too creepy to sleep with a 16-year-old and still be romanticized on network television. Now, Arya and Ezra's relationship gets the most attention due to its popularity, longevity. Most of
just no. I'm like, it's like looking at these two, and it's like you see that they're actually kind of close in age. Like you see, like, okay, Lucy, they're like, they look like they're close in age. That's why it doesn't feel like, when you look at it at face value, it doesn't look that weird. But it still feels awful. It's like, this is a teacher and a student, and ABC Family is hyper normalizing this behavior and making it feel like taboo, which is what Broomers, by the way, do. It's like, oh, society is hating on us, but we're above society. We're soulmates. And ABC Family is legit allowing that type of behavior happen through the show and encouraging that type of manipulation, that type of predatory behavior. Wow. ABC Family acting like a predator.
Arya's arcs revolving around him, and the added taboo element of the teacher-student dynamic. But it is far from the only instance of a minor having a romantic relationship with an
The
adult
show.
on Pretty Little Liars. Shout out to ABC Family.
It's a family show. Or is it?
I added as many as I could
Wait,
find
that
and made a
Harry
reel.
Styles moment was so insane. Wait, what did he say? That was
13 is
wait,
the
wait,
number
wait.
I ended up
That
with.
was so good. Oh,
13
sorry, wait.
adult minor relationships on this
That was
show.
so good.
And honestly,
13.
there could be more. I may have missed a few. It's horrifying, but I think there are more underage relationships on this show than not. We can't get into all of them because this video would be 10 hours long, and I'd have to rewatch the whole show, which I'm not going to do. But before we really dive into Arya and Ezra's relationship,
Wait, you
and
guys,
trust
there's
me,
13. Is there any Pretty Little Liars fans in here, past fans in here that can name the 13 I don't know, predatory dynamics that were happening in the show? I don't want to use the word relationships, but can someone 13? Yeah, like 13 is a lot. And Sloan is saying here that there's more inappropriate predatory relationships happening on the show than regular ones. I mean, what's wrong with ABC Family? This is really fucked up. And kids are watching that. There's a lot. Okay. Ren and Spencer. Yeah, we're going to get there. JC. I mean, oh, it was on the screen. Oh, you're right.
I want
There
to
it
first
is.
focus on a more underrated but also deeply problematic relationship from the show.
Okay, here they are. So it looks like Allison and Ian. It looks like Talia, Talia, and Emily. Wait, all these dynamics were predatory or like underage, overage. Yeah, this was based on a book. I know. But it seems like in the beginning of this video, it talks about how this book was really, though, staged for a network. Like the whole machine that was behind it was to create the TV show. So the book was actually a catalyst for the TV show, which, by the way, they do that a lot now, where like they make it a book to get that fan base, you know, like strong, obviously, and dedicated. And you feel like you've read the whole thing and now you want to see it all play out in a TV format. But that's apparently what happened when it came to Pretty Little Liars, that it was a whole studio system behind it that was building the entire thing from the beginning, which is just, okay, kind of spooky. Wow, look at this wheel. This is the wheel of jail.
In
Like
fact,
jail
from
wheel.
the first 3 episodes. Step up Spencer Hastings and Ren Kingston, the most stereotypically British sounding last name I've ever heard. As consistently listed in every official script, revision, pitch, and treatment that I could find, Ren is 24 years old. Oh my god, twins? That really seems to be the lucky number.
Yeah,
right next to
because
16, which convenient.
Because it's the age that you feel like college, like, I don't know. There's something about the early 2000s where, wow, that's how like brainwashed we honestly were by the patriarchy. But like, I even kind of remember that like early 20s guys catcalling, you know, 15, 16-year-old girls back then wasn't seen or frowned down upon in the same way that like, you know, a 29-year-old, like when you were pushing 29 or like going into 30, I remember that being like an actual like, no, you know, like that was, what the fuck are you doing? But I never really saw any like 20 to 24-year-old bros getting called out for catcalling or hitting or preying on, sorry, that gotta use that word, preying on children. Just wasn't the vibe back then. Just really wasn't, sadly.
Is Spencer's age. Quite blatantly, Ren and Spencer's fling, situationship, whatever you want to call it, tracks the grooming process to a T. This is a pattern of grooming outlined by Rain. Using this and a few different resources, all linked
This blew my
below,
mind.
we are going to go over these actions and scenes in a different light than the show would perhaps prefer us to see them in. So let's start with their first ever meeting. Melissa, Spencer's 22-year-old sister, is home with her fiance, Ren, who Spencer hasn't met yet. So basically, Spencer has...
I'm sorry, but like, does this guy, I mean, maybe because I'm like a 30-year-old, woman, but like, that guy just looks like such a douche. Like, this British dude is just, it's giving me a little bit of a douchey vibe here.
Converted the barn into a loft to move into for her junior year, a reward for getting good grades and giving up her summer for an internship. But Melissa breaks the news to Spencer that she and Ren are moving into the barn for the fall while her place in the city gets redone. Naturally, this causes some friction. In the middle of this argument, Ren comes out and
Go
greets
back in the
Spencer.
house.
Is everything okay?
Not anymore.
I'm Ren.
Upset, she doesn't acknowledge him. She storms off, but we stay with Melissa and Ren. Pretty uneventful first interaction, but after Spencer leaves, we are shown this.
Sounds like she was counting on moving into the barn.
Don't worry about Spencer. She'll get over it.
This is significant. Spencer doesn't hear him. She's not supposed to. This line is meant for us, the audience, to show us that Ren is caring, that Ren is a nice person.
Yeah, but he looks like, and now he looks like, this guy looks like every douche that I personally have met at every party during this era. Like, they were like all like copies of each, like my memory. It almost feels like now when I look back at my memory of all of the bros that were at these house parties and what was it called? Oakwood? Oh my God, was it called Oakwood, that apartment complex? Yes. Okay. Yes. Oakwood. Okay. Yeah. Dude, that's like every guy at Oakwood. Like now when I look back at it, I'm just only seeing like this bro's face, like multiplied literally everywhere around me. All right.
Want us to like him. At the same time, they want us to not like Melissa. Keep in mind, this isn't to throw us off so they can set up a big plot twist where we realize he's actually a creep. The show pretty much always wants us to like Ren and think he's a good guy. In their next interaction, Ren approaches Spencer outside.
Laura, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, Laura.
He's reading. He puts out his cigarette.
Does my sister know you smoke?
Yeah, I do.
Does she have to know everything?
Anyone care? I think it's good.
The double entendre is not subtle, but it is effective. On one hand, he's clearly flirting, but with low stakes, suggestive towards Spencer without really committing to it. Just testing the waters, testing Spencer's reaction.
Oh my
if Ren needed
God,
to, he'd be
what is going on? First of all, his I'm not a predator. Like, this is my I'm not a predator face that literally makes me think you're a fucking a predator. Honestly, like, why are you going over also to the 16-year-old girl? Like, this is, and then that's your fiance's sister. There's so many things wrong with this at once that my brain can't even fully deal with it, per se, at all.
backtrack from this comment and chalk it up to its primary meaning. Does Melissa have to know that he smokes cigarettes? And with that comment, they effectively share a small secret. They don't pinky promise or anything, but it's understood by the audience and the characters that Ren's cigarette habit is a lightly established secret between them.
Right.
Something that Spencer knows that Melissa doesn't. And this little secret may seem harmless and inconsequential.
No, but we all know when it comes to predators, like the way of getting them to bond with you is through a secret pact usually. Like it's something that they've told you or that you've told them, or they get you to tell them, that creates this secrecy. And because of that secrecy, especially as a child, you feel like that's a bond. You know, because now you've trusted this person enough with something and now they hold that secret, you know. It's so I can't believe ABC Family is doing this. Like literally orchestrating grooming 101.
But in reality, this is exactly how predators gain trust over their victims.
Right.
Lightly at first, again, just testing the waters. According to Rain, abusers attempt to gain trust of a potential victim through gifts, attention, sharing secrets, and other means to make them feel that they have a caring relationship and to train them to keep the relationship secret. Ren does this constantly in their scenes together, and again in this one only a moment later when he tells her he's sorry about the loft. It's kind of infuriating because if it was self-aware at all, it would actually be really good writing, but I digress.
Does she have to know everything?
The next
Does
time they're
she
alone
need
together, they're
to
wearing a
know
lot
everything?
less clothing.
Who
Ren is
are you? Ew, and no, this is so fucked up. They're not gonna show them in their swimsuits right now. You guys seeing what I'm saying?
into the house from getting out of the jacuzzi, and Spencer is about to go in the jacuzzi. They meet in the middle in the kitchen. Ironically, Ren's actions follow the exact order of the quintessential grooming pattern outlined by Rain. After beginning to gain Spencer's trust through attention and sharing secrets, he establishes physical contact under the guise of helping Spencer with her
No,
sore
stay away from
shoulder.
the
Probably have
child.
a fluid buildup.
No!
I can help.
This is what children were watching. This is look at his face. Oh no.
Rain says abusers will often start to touch a victim in ways that appear harmless,
Right.
such as hugging, wrestling, and tickling, and later escalate to increasingly more sexual contact,
Right.
such as massages. Even more damning, Ren backs away immediately when Melissa calls for him because he knows his behavior is inappropriate. And here's
Yeah, inappropriate, and it's her sister. Like, this guy's the worst guy ever, and ABC Family is trying to like paint him as somebody who's like the good guy. The guy is a predator and also is engaged to the sister of the child he is preying on. I mean, this is just, I can't believe this. Jaden using Diplo's emotes. Oh, I haven't seen anyone use Diplo's emote, really. That was good, Jaden, and really on alleged point. Allegedly.
Fun fact, in the script, this scene actually takes place in the jacuzzi. In their next interaction, Spencer, Melissa,
In the
their father
jacuzzi?
Peter, and Ren go out to dinner together. Ren and Spencer sit across from Melissa and Peter, our first subtle indicator that this dinner will separate the group into two different sides. The waiter comes to take their drink orders.
I'll have a vodka soda. She's kidding.
Yeah, actually, we'll have a vodka soda.
And then when the drinks come, this
And
happens.
I don't know, has anyone
Been nominated to serve.
I don't know, is anyone also noticing like the way that they're painting it is that the girl is kind of like initiating it? Like when it comes to like Lucy Hale, and now I'm not sure actually what her real name is, Spencer, right? But the way that Spencer's like eyeing him, like the whole thing is like making it feel like the person who's really into it and pursuing it is the child. Like, and as an audience member, when you're a kid, like you're not even noticing the way that he's the adult. Like, you know, a kid can never consent to anything. Like the adult is the one who has really truly the power in that situation. And so it's just interesting to see how they're painting her and Lucy to kind of be the one who's like initiating and giving flirtatious looks, and he's the good guy. I don't know, I'm just getting that vibe. I'm not sure if anyone else is feeling the same way, but it's what I'm feeling. It's what I'm feeling.
School's leadership committee.
By surreptitiously sharing his drink with Spencer,
No!
Ren is not only giving a 16-year-old alcohol, but he's also gaining her trust and establishing another secret between them that further separates Spencer from her family.
Correct. Wow, this is textbook.
Suggests they play this horrible game, high-low, where each person names their greatest achievement of the day, and the most impressive one wins. When Spencer can't come up with something, Ren interrupts.
I got a brilliant parking spot today, right in front of the chem lab.
So this dinner is especially significant because from the get-go, even before the game is even brought up, Ren establishes a very us versus them mentality with Spencer against Melissa and their dad. Throughout the scene, Ren has sidebars with Spencer, constantly tries to make her laugh, and actively gauges her reactions. Their next on-screen interaction takes place at night. Ren comes into Spencer's room while she's studying
Nope,
and offers
nope,
to give
nope,
her another
nope,
massage.
nope.
Should I give you another rub?
These are adults writing this shit, by the way. And by the way, like Russell Hicks said from Nickelodeon, like Nickelodeon approved and oversaw everything. Literally every single thing you are watching here, executives at the high levels approved of this, allowed this to actually not only make it to the final draft, but also be filmed and also be aired. And this person, Sloan, who's making this video, I totally understand, like, you know, what she's saying here in regards to, you know, not wanting to feel like these executives maybe were intentionally doing something like this, but this is beyond negligence. Like, I'm sorry, I'm 31 years old, and if I was seeing these scenes, these scenarios at table readings, because I'm not sure if anyone knows what, you know, these table readings are, but table readings happen obviously before filming. You go over the lines, the writers, the director get to hear everything played out by the actors, yada, yada, yada. Like, if I was seeing this at a table reading at 31, as a writer, as an actor, you know, I'd be like, what is this? Like, he's 25, she's 16, like, he's gonna be put away, right? Or there's like a consequence, like we're gonna film him like he's a really scary individual or not good. The fact that the whole thing's played out like it's consensual, that it's like, I don't know, cool even, like risky. It's like literally Predator 101. And honestly, it just freaks me out that not one adult there are so many adults there, not one adult said this is not okay or responsible to allow children to see this type of behavior like this played out. I just can't believe it. Yeah. Right above yours. In the book, Ezra went to prison. In the show, they get married. I heard this. So that is confirmed. That's true. Wow. So do you think it's that showrunner's idea to change it to married? Like, I wonder who's, anyways, let's continue this. But like, I wonder who is the person who was like, you know what? Let's change that. And ABC Family allowed that. I mean, this is also what literally happened to me, by the way, you know, in the sense where like literally the person groomed me into a fraudulent marriage, right? And this is them like romanticizing that and hyper-normalizing it. It's really fucked up. I really don't like it.
No, that's okay.
He flirts with her, blatantly checks her out. Then he offers to help her study. Ren tries to connect with Spencer emotionally, pointing out the pressure her family puts on her, which can be interpreted as another attempt to isolate her from them.
You know, I didn't grow up in a family like yours, so I don't know that kind of pressure, but I can imagine it could be unbearable at times.
Spencer views this differently.
Here we
I'm sorry
go.
I'm being intrusive.
No, you're being nice.
No,
Oh, this is textbook. This is textbook.
he's not. Then Ren moves closer to Spencer and kisses her. Though Ren's actions are predatory, he's never portrayed as a predator.
Right.
The show appears to minimize his actions or deliberately present them as organic. Like, Ren didn't randomly try to give Spencer a massage. He saw that her shoulder was hurting, and he wanted to help. Ren giving Spencer alcohol was not premeditated. She was the one who ordered it first. He was just being nice. Ren was on his way to do laundry before he just happened to walk by Spencer's room and spontaneously decided to come in.
Even though you better believe that Predator was legit just holding that to like have an excuse, like that bro does his laundry. That privileged bro does his own laundry. I just can't believe that. The whole thing is like, if you were an adult. What the fuck was that? But I thought I was literally about to DIE. Like, that was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre sound. Like, that brought me back to my childhood watching that movie. What was that?
That was my air compressor.
Why
Turning
the
on.
fuck did it just randomly turn on though?
It like slowly leaks air, and then it'll turn on when it's at a certain pressure. But I usually have it off. I turned it on like yesterday.
Yo, that
It's so funny.
was
I heard it last night actually, and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta turn that
that
off.
was the loudest thing I've ever could anyone else hear that
Oh, they
fucking
heard it.
shit?
They heard that.
That thing scared me. And I was like, where? I'm saying too much, you guys. They're after me. They're fucking after me. That's what I felt for a second. It sounded like a chainsaw. Like it legit sounded like a chainsaw. Okay. We're safe, alive, and resuming into this predatory world of ABC Family. Oh my God.
Details make a difference in the audience's perception. Portraying Ren in a light that makes the viewer like him and never doing anything significant to change that is harmful to underage viewers. Whether the writers are aware of it or not, this is how groomers operate.
Totally.
I wouldn't be surprised if the writers didn't view these interactions this way. But what matters the most isn't how the writers interpret Ren and Spencer's relationship. It's how the young audience does. Something that was never taken into account in the ways that it should have been. Because I don't think the viewers from watching the show would see those scenes in the same way that I just described them. I know I didn't.
No, they
but
don't
still,
even
they-
see life in the same way. You know, I even look at things differently now than I did fucking 3 years ago. Am I wrong? Like, I mean, we're talking about even as adults, I feel like we're seeing things differently. And the more education that we have around things, the language to describe things also changes the way that we view a lot. So, you know, even now, looking back, like even 6 months ago, I see things very differently. Now, thinking about children watching this is so irresponsible that it almost feels purposeful. I'm not saying it is, but like there's something about it that's not giving me a good feeling here.
Register what's in front of them. The audience sees these actions. They see Ren, a man in his 20s, appear to care about Spencer, a 16-year-old girl who they may identify with. They see Ren ask Spencer about herself and show interest and sympathy toward her complicated home life and relationship with her family members.
Right.
They see him give her a massage. They see him sneak her alcohol.
No.
They see him
Red
kiss
flag.
her. They see him seem to really care about her. And the audience likes him because they're supposed to, because he's cute and English and they're not shown not to. And yeah, it's just a show. But what happens if those actions play out in the viewer's own lives? What
And
if
it did. For me, you know what I mean? Like for me, like I was literally groomed at the age of 16 into a fraudulent marriage. And so when you think about children watching this show, you know, they are going to think that this stuff, this criminal behavior, this predatory behavior can instead be soulmates, love at first sight. And that is so dangerous because then, like, here we go. I'm sure that's what Sloane's going to say here is when they do come into contact with a, you know, predator, they're going to have their guards down in a way that was literally implanted in them by something like ABC Family. I mean, whoa. ABC Family hyper-normalized grooming, but not even hyper-normalized it, romanticized it, praised it, and allowed it to be something that was platformed in a positive light. Like, that is wild to me. I mean, what am I saying? Okay, there was an entire show called To Catch a Predator. Yeah, in the 200. Oh, yeah, in the 2000s. I was like in the 200s. There were probably predators running amok at every era. Just is really creeping me out that ABC Family was doing this. Like, wow.
goes through the pattern of grooming them through actions that completely mirror Ren's, by showing concern, by flirting, by establishing little secrets in physical contact, by giving them alcohol. What is a teenager supposed to make of that when those exact actions were not depicted negatively on their favorite show?
Correct.
As far as they're told, the only problem with Spencer and Ren's relationship is the fact that he's engaged to her sister. Without that factor, what reason do they have to think that Brent is a creepy guy, or by extension, the adult that's grooming them in their own lives? The question then becomes, could a child from watching these scenes become desensitized to these actions in real life? Does Pretty Little Liars prime young viewers to be groomed by predators? I want to be clear, there is nothing inherently wrong.
I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I want to believe that, again, I just think it's like a typical institution, once again, you know, covering up predatory behavior for money. You know what I mean? Like they're prioritizing the financial gain of this TV show over the potential and most likely like risks when it comes to what they're putting out there. And that's the problem also when it comes to these institutions, is that they are prioritizing finances over protecting children, for example, or protecting, you know, victims, survivors of predatory behavior, of R, of SA. And this is just a clear example of it. They probably saw, you know, how many people bought that book and maybe praised that fraudulent predatory relationship online. And so they, again, prioritize money. And also it just fits the whole American, I don't know, box of the patriarchy, honestly. Like, this is so obviously the patriarchy. And even for a female showrunner, for example, it's just internalized patriarchy and capitalism. It's like, it's internalized, it's patriarchy and capitalism once again, just shaking hands and calling it a day.
With fictionally depicting a teacher-student romantic relationship on television. The same goes for adult-minor relationships. Yes, if they're executed irresponsibly, these plotlines can have damaging effects on the audience. More on that later.
Of course.
But if done responsibly, they can be educational, compelling, and yeah, even entertaining. Determining the morality of these fictional relationships boils down to how they are portrayed.
Right.
And what the audience takes away by the end. Pretty Little Liars was already in an even more sensitive position than other shows because a substantial portion of their target demographic is teenagers. The series had more of a responsibility to handle these relationships with care for their impressionable audience. That
Yeah,
didn't
you're
stop them from
dealing
doing
with a kid's show. Like, you even should have even more morale. Like, you know what I mean? When you're dealing with children. But this fucking showrunner, by the way, was like tweeting and pushing out this Ezra Arya relationship as if it was popcorn for her, which is just really, that I keep forgetting that too. This is a kid's show. This is a teenager show. There are children watching, 12 to 24, and probably there are 6-year-olds watching this show, right? Wouldn't you think you would up your game when it comes to morals and ethics when you're dealing with children? But no, instead, that's not the case. It seems like all of the morals just went totally out the window, even more so than like adult shows. Like, I don't even remember other shows doing this that were on like HBO even, per se. Not like this. Like, this is pretty wild for a kid show. I keep forgetting, like, kid show, teenager show. All right.
The complete opposite. In Arya's character description, it says, she's seen more of the world than most Rosewood teens and possesses maturity beyond her years. They really hit her with the mature for your age card. Not all the documents I've been able to find. This specific word always seems to come up.
Okay, how many times, do we have any people in here that have been told, especially, I really do feel females specifically, by adults, older males, getting told that they are mature for their age? Which, like, I just heard that my entire life, honestly. My whole life I heard that from execs to even going to, like, some people's Thanksgiving dinners. I don't know. I heard that all the time, honestly. You're mature for your age. You're mature for your age. And it is it's like predatory behavior 101. And here you have it written into a script. It's like, are they aware of what they're doing? these showrunners and these writers on this show? Like, are they whatsoever aware that they're going like textbook? It's like predator. It's like, this is predatorology. Actually, let's see the predatorology emotes in the chat. Like, this is exactly what it is. Like, they're showing it in real time, or I guess in fake time since it's television, but you get what I'm saying. They're showing it to you in real time, how predatory behavior plays out. But instead of showing the criminal behavior of it or how bad it honestly is, they're romanticizing it. What the fuck? Okay.
Aria is mature. It's almost as if they use this as a way to justify the relationship, as if her living in Iceland for a year means that she possesses some hidden knowledge, as if being mature for her age changes her age. There's a lot wrong with this. I'm not saying Aria is not mature, but often someone may seem more mature than their age because they have to be, because they have trauma. When we meet Aria,
blew my mind, by the way. Her statement right there about how trauma, because of the need to survival can make you have to grow up faster. It doesn't change your age, but trauma can make you go into survival mode and have to age faster internally, but you're still a kid. It's just survival. That blew my mind because when I look back at things that I experienced in this industry, and even outside of it, you know, a lot of how I was desensitized to talking to adults at a very young age was out of survival, was surviving things or yeah, I mean, straight up, like literally surviving things, like, you know, being in set environments where you're expected to act older than you are, where you are constantly surrounded by other adults and you see adults more than you do kids your age. And, you know, wow, you know, that really stood out probably to a lot of predators out there when they started preying on me, because they would use that same language. You're so mature for your age, but it's like, no, no, no. It's not about being mature. It's trauma. It's survival. And it can make children have to adapt in a way that, you know, feels similar to, because when I think about adulthood, like now being an adult, I feel like we're surviving like daily in some way or form, especially within capitalism. Like it just is survival. I mean, unless you're like the 1%, right? Or unless you're somebody who even upper middle class, you might be surfing it a little bit. For most people, it is a survival. And, you know, that's just honestly what life has become. And as an adult, that's how I view adulthood, is really understanding survival and sadly having to experience so much trauma. So maybe when these individuals say, like even people that aren't predators, but people that kind of endorse predatory behavior without recognizing it, is that when you say to a kid you're mature, it means like you have experienced some type of trauma and you've survived it. And because of that, I'm recognizing or I'm processing that as adulthood. But really it's childhood trauma. That hopefully that made fucking sense, but it really blew my mind when I heard that, because when I was thinking about it, I was like, wow, adulthood, when you think of what mature means, it's trauma. And instead of saying old soul, maybe what you're seeing there is a child who has experienced trauma and has had to survive it in a way, and you're registering it as adulthood, but really this is obviously still a child, and it's survival. All right, let's continue.
she is, whether she or Marlene King realizes it or not, in a very emotionally vulnerable position. Her best friend disappeared a year ago. She isn't close with her friend group anymore. She's been manipulated by her father to keep his affair a secret, in her eyes to protect her mom. She often provides parental support to her younger brother and emotional support to her mom in a way that a child shouldn't have to. While these factors make Aria more mature, they also make her an easier target to be preyed upon. I don't particularly care if Marlene King notices these things or not. I care about the young viewers who may see their own similarities reflected in Aria, similarities which may already suggest they're easier targets to predators. These young viewers who then possibly assume, by extension, that they are mature enough for romantic relationships with adults. And let's talk about that phrase. Mature for your age, old soul, wise beyond your years. They're all the same thing. To young people, it's the ultimate compliment, isn't it? It goes hand in hand with intelligence, but there's a uniqueness factor to it. Something special, inherent, something that the other kids just don't get. But it's not really a compliment, though. That's not the right word. A more fitting word is praise. Because where a compliment is an expression of admiration, praise is an expression of approval. Approval that can only be bestowed by an older or wiser person, someone who has the authority to gauge what mature means.
That blew my mind. That literally, I turned to Miko the other night. I was like, that, it's not a compliment, it's praise. And the only person who can give that type of compliment, if you want to put it that way, but it's not, that praise is somebody who is an adult, who can actually recognize that. So when you hear that from an adult, you actually believe them because only an adult could recognize that. So it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. Let me see what everyone's saying. There's a PDF file. If you have anything to add to this, please eatpredators@gmail.com or our Reddit. Please send it over.
Herein lies another skewed power dynamic.
Okay, good.
In the 5th episode of the first season, Ezra invites Arya to his book reading at a bar. Ezra's roommate from college, Hardy, surprises him and meets Arya, who introduces herself as Ezra's student. When Arya leaves the group to get water, Hardy warns Ezra against their relationship.
When this is all over, she's gonna get her diploma, you're gonna get a pink slip and an orange jumpsuit.
When Arya returns...
Okay, yeah, like, also, why aren't you calling the police? Like, I'd be like, you don't stay away from this person, or like, there's gonna be... You don't just like say that and walk away and leave the 16-year-old girl with this person.
Ezra acts distantly toward
Bad
her,
bystander.
like he's embarrassed by her age. Later, he makes a condescending comment that reinforces this.
So are all college boys like the ones in that bar?
Well, maybe when you go to college, you'll
cringe.
Find out for yourself. Why would he? I was just having fun in a bar with a high school student.
Dude, why is she in your place?
Well, maybe
Wait. Sorry, I'm like trying to process this slowly. Why is she now in your place? Like, how did it get from the bar? And he's like, I'm with a high schooler. Why is she in your place, bro? You act like she just magically appeared in your place, like she's like a ghost. Like, how did she arrive there? You invited her to your place? The whole show was problematic. I didn't watch after season 1. I'm sure, Ashley. If it started off like this, I can't even imagine where it ends. Like, what the fuck?
The problem with this dialogue is that Ezra doesn't consider himself. The focus is on Arya, like she's lacking something, like she's not good enough. Like her age is a stain that reflects poorly on her character, as if it's some kind of scarlet letter. When in reality, the focus should be solely on Ezra's actions and all of the ways he's wrong for pursuing his 16-year-old student. This goes back to this idea and illusion of maturity.
Was I acting like a high school girl? Did I do anything to embarrass you?
This puts Arya...
No, you're not embarrassing. You're just a 16-year-old, and you should not be hanging. Like, anytime, this is just so... And also reminding me of a lot, like, it's kind of triggering, honestly, also. I think back at a lot of... I've been in these situations as a 16-year-old, and it's true, like, around predators, like, it's not good, just... I can't believe someone approved this. We're talking about, like, this went through a chain of approval from executives. Like, so many executives were like, oh, yes, like, up the chain. And then I'm shocked by this. This is, like, worse than most, like, adult content that I've seen, like, on TV. This is on a whole other level. What is she doing in his
Another
apartment?
unbalanced dynamic where she's constantly seeking his approval. Approval that only Ezra can give because he is the age that she can only mentally try to be. This is another example of how foundationally unequal their relationship is. Not only does the show romanticize problematic relationships, but they then push these relationships onto the audience. Ezra and Arya's relationship is portrayed in a way to make the viewers root for their relationship. The show often does this through perception framing. Perception framing is The deliberate use of narrative structure, audio-visual elements, and cinematography in television and film to provoke specific emotional or cognitive responses in order to shape the audience's perception of the content, characters, or story. What we have to consider are the show's intentions.
Right.
In this context, what do they want you to think of the relationships? And how can they make you feel that way? Let's look at a subtle example first. We know that music
I was
is
like picturing fucking CHRISTY CARLSON Romano's like music coming in. Wasn't that perception framing? But like perception framing gone so fucking terribly wrong.
The spa music?
Yeah, dude. That was literally that editor's version of perception framing. Like, it was supposed to make it like it was some kind of like nostalgic, calming moment happening, and you're like, wait, this is not at all what's happening at all. It's perception framing. But like, this is basically what
in television and film to establish a mood or elicit a specific emotion from an audience.
Right.
The type of music that plays tells the audience what they should feel. In many scenes where Arya and Ezra are alone together, romantic songs play in the background. There's nothing accidental about these songs in the show. To use
Now you got the music like crew involved in this that are like making romanticizing predatory behavior music. Oh my God. Who was the person having to do that? Like, that is also, here's another layer. Look at all these bystanders. No one goes, hey, this is problematic. Like, this is not okay. No one on set? No one?
Existing music and TV, production companies have to get permission, multiple licenses on top of fees and royalties. So these song choices, they're deliberate and thought out because they have to be. But the show doesn't just use other artists' songs. They also hired composer Michael Subi to create an original soundtrack score for the show. Some of these songs have to do with Arya and Ezra's relationship. And shocker, they're mostly slow instrumental melodies. Some of these include Life with Ezra, Arya and Ezra Say Goodbye, Kissing Arya, Arya and Ezra's Theme. I'm sorry, Arya and Ezra's Theme? They're on the phrase song.
Wow, making a theme. This is really beyond dangerous now.
Pilot wasn't enough. They have to have their own theme song too. And just for the record, none of the other main couples have their own official theme song. Let me reiterate.
Interesting.
One of the companies paid someone to compose these love songs to play over scenes with Arya and Ezra.
Wow.
Okay, let's look at a more overt example that has to do with narrative. The show presents Arya as the pursuer. After they realize that Ezra is Arya's teacher, Arya is the one who still wants to make it work, while Ezra is hesitant.
Right.
Are you here to ask about the homework assignment?
Do you have plans this weekend?
I'm thinking we should talk about the homework assignment.
She knows what she wants and she doesn't care about the rules. She rebuffs Ezra's ethical arguments at every turn because, hey, age is just a number and love conquers all.
Yeah, and it's like an adult wrote this? Like, this is how an adult is portraying this situation? Just like, well, I want to know, who's this writer? Can someone put in the chat who wrote these books, by the way? Like, I think it's a female as well, but I want to pull that person up too.
I wish I was being hyperbolic, but this is quite literally the show's logic. And the character descriptions for casting, it says, Arya is determined not to let Ezra go without a fight. Arya's conviction and persistence may make it seem like this relationship is fully consensual.
Right.
When, in reality, the adult is the one with the power.
Correct.
But the show never sets this record straight. To contrast framing, let's take a look at this scene from Netflix's You.
I can show you my short.
We're friends.
Oh,
and
it's
cool.
freaking
You're also
Chris
15,
D'Elia!
so we're not
No, is that how you say his name?
What is his game here?
Wait. Oh my God.
Chris D'Elia.
D'Elia, whatever. Oh my God. That video when he realizes about Snapchat, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Wait, take off my screen for a second. I want to pull it up because that is, I need to show that. Like, it's a Chris Snapchat moment. We got to play this because, oh, wait, here it is. Can we just watch this really quickly?
But hold on a second.
Wait, this moment still like blows my mind that it happened. Oh, wait, I should make it.
No, leave it like that.
Is it fine like that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's watch this.
how did it come out? Like, how did they
The
Parents.
boy's mother ended up finding it.
Fucking
finding
haters.
it? What do you mean? It doesn't
Haters.
Snapchat goes away, right? How they?
He probably saved it. You can screen record, take screenshots.
Wow.
You got to know that that's gonna happen.
Dude, him realizing that that is possible is beyond. And to think about how many bros didn't realize that you could do that. They save everything, by the way. Like most survivors, I've heard this before from people who I guess are experts when it comes to trauma, especially in regards to SA, where there's something about survivors keeping like every single email or every single card, like any type of evidence that a normal person would probably not have access to still, survivors tend to. And they think that it's because subconsciously there's trauma there. And so you're keeping, you know, you're keeping a hold of what hasn't been healed or what hasn't been processed, and you'll subconsciously do that. And it's apparently extremely common that most survivors of SA saved everything, like most things that if you were in a normal relationship, like now, like for example, like I don't even remember where Miko's like certain cards are, you know, for example, where it's not because you don't care about them. It's just that you're not preserving them in this, in a way, you know, making sure that they're still around. With certain traumatic things that have happened to me, like I just haven't deleted, or I even have them in a specific folder, you know, and then I would look back at the things that I've kept and I've been like, wow, so interesting that I kept this, because now that I'm looking at it and now being able to perceive it, being outside of the traumatic event or being on the other side of things, I'm able to begin processing it. And that actually had a lot to do with me coming forward about a lot of things, was being able to revisit things that I did not let go of, you know, that were still tangible, either on my computer, my phone, a card, you know, you name it. And apparently this is very common. It's part of trauma, and it's about preserving it until you're ready to fully process it and see what it is. So anyways, just for the alleged predators out there, you know, we're survivors are saving it all, okay? And there's more to come too, by the way. There's more to come too, by the way. All right, let's continue.
Girl child.
All right, fine. But you have to promise me you're not going to tell anybody that you were here alone with me.
Scout's honor.
This is his clever trick to make her feel safe, like she chose.
Unlike the scene, there is no acknowledgement of the power dynamics or manipulation. It's actually incredibly ironic because both shows were produced by the same production company.
Wait. You was the same production company as Pretty Little Liars? That show is pretty weird too. It hyper-normalizes stalking and romanticizes stalking. That show also has its own problematic shit. I don't know. I saw like the first season, and at first I kind of like, or the second season, I like enjoyed it, like in the sense of, I don't know, popcorn TV kind of vibe, where you get into it and whatever. But then I think it was the third season or something where I started to realize like, wow, this is like hyper normalizing and romanticizing stalking and kind of and straight up abusive behavior. And so interesting that it's the same production. What's with who owns this production? It's like freaking weird. Hyper normalizing this type of behavior. Not down.
Pursuer could lead viewers to believe that minors have the same level of power and agency as adults.
Right.
Not only is this dangerous for the viewers in their own lives, but translated to the real world, this could lead to doubting or blaming the victims who come forward against their abusers. While Arya is determined, Ezra, on the other hand, is initially more resistant to the prospect of continuing something romantic with Arya.
Right.
Can I come in?
I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
Dude, just don't even stand there. Close the fucking door. Like this, this is just wild to me. A child is showing up at your front door. You don't even open it unless, is this an emergency? Do you need me to call somebody? No, then Goodbye. Like, he opens the door. I don't really think I should be. It's like, bro, come on. Who are you fooling here? Who is he fooling exactly? Like, come on.
The mind. Because Ezra's a good person, fighting the deep feelings he has from talking to her for like half
he's
an
the
hour
moral.
in that bar. In his character description, it says
He's
he can't
resisting.
believe she's only 16, and he tries, but not too hard, to dissuade her from pursuing their relationship.
Try
Ezra's reluctance is
harder.
not just
Be better. What?
there to build suspense, although it does add to the illicitness of their relationship. But really, it's likely his hesitation is there to frame him as a good guy in a tough situation, and well, really to make him look less creepy. Because imagine how blatantly predatory it would come across if he wasn't at all deterred by her age. The morality of their relationship is very uniquely presented. For Ezra's reasons against dating Arya, they pretty much stick to this dialogue. I'm your teacher, you're my student,
I'm your teacher.
and this isn't right.
Yeah.
But it's not right.
And I could get in
Right,
trouble.
because that's
they
like
don't go much deeper.
that's like the PG version of what they can say. And it's like, well, no, you shouldn't even be doing this type of context, this type of content, unless you can actually explain what's actually happening. And this is a predator victim dynamic. It's very simple. Very, very simple. It is a predator victim dynamic, and you're romanticizing it and hypernormalizing it. That's pretty much it.
Why the relationship is wrong. Arya's rebuttal is almost always a variation of, but this feels right, and I don't care what the world says.
She's
I know it's not just me. Hey, you feel like this is right for us too.
It's an argument of logic versus emotions, laws versus ethics. Arya doesn't care what the world thinks. She knows this is bigger than that, and Ezra knows it too.
In theory, we are a lot more wrong than we are right.
You want to be real? Forget about theory.
A protagonist going against the
Oh my
rules.
God, just throw this show in the trash. I'm sorry. Like, this is just beyond, like, just gross as fuck, man. Like, why are you having these conversations with her? Period. Go away. Stop talking to a child, your student. Just stop having, this is wrong, this is right.
Is this also still the sister of her?
No, this is not.
Okay, okay.
No, but that's another character, but pretty much it's the same. It's
Right,
like
right, right.
literally the same shit. It is. They look, the two dudes look the same. I told you, when I look back now at the early 2000s, I only see that guy like multiplied
Right.
at parties.
Yeah, yeah.
Straight up. Like, my memory now is just this fucking bro. It's horrible.
To do what in their heart they know is right. Why does that sound familiar? Maybe because we've seen it 100 times.
Right.
There are countless films in which daring characters challenge laws, rules, norms, what society, in whatever form it takes, deems as acceptable. These characters know the odds are against them, and they have a lot to lose, but they persist because they know they're doing the right thing. We see this thematic structure applied again and again, but we never tire of it because the themes are so human. These are stories of bravery and courage and what it means to be good. Individuality and nonconformity are messages we grew up with.
Right. And they're trying to what? Apply this to predatory fucking behavior? Can you believe this?
We're receptive to these stories and warmly familiar with them. And that's a good thing. They're important. They bolster powerful topics: classism, sexism, racism, homophobia, indoctrination, and oppression. They strengthen our values and they inspire us. So
Right.
for Pretty Little Liars to use that exact paradigm to promote a teacher and his student fighting for their relationship, like it's an act of integrity, like it's something to be
Right.
admired, is so disturbing. Whether they intentionally take advantage of the audience's familiarity with the structure is
I think so. Because what adult in their right mind would allow all of this to play out the way that it's been playing out in this show and not say anything or not go like, this is fucked up. This is not, no. What is the message we're sending? What does this look like to others? To me, there's just something not sitting right. Like, I don't fully believe that you can just walk through this type of behavior nonchalantly. I just really do not. Jaden, yeah, this is just yuck, 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 yuck.
Unclear, but either way, they benefit from it. We're conditioned to root for these characters. And I don't know. There's something so sinister about it. Using something that's used for good, making something bad out of it, and then masquerading that thing as good to an audience that isn't used to questioning it. It's desecrating to these stories that actually stand for something. While we're familiar with protagonists fighting the odds, we're also used to seeing them pitted against antagonists. It seems that every adult that disapproves of Arya and Ezra's relationship is framed as a villain. Take the character Jackie.
Right, the obstacle.
For example, Jackie is introduced at the end of season 1 as Ezra's ex-fiancé. She finds out about the relationship. Instead of, I don't know, calling the police, she plots to break them up so she can...
Wait, stop. That was... Instead of calling the police, it's a rival between these two, a girl and a woman. Like, who is this guy, by the way? Who is this guy? This is the weirdest writing. What the fuck is happening? Like, what? I feel like this is just out of control. I can't even believe this is the next story plot.
Back. This 16-year-old becomes her enemy and her competition.
Oh, right,
she then
patriarchy.
uses the same demeaning language to insinuate that Arya is not mature enough for Ezra.
College will be a great experience for you. It really helps you grow up.
Not mature enough. She's a child. Why aren't you reporting this? Doing something about this? Instead, you're not mature. Like, what? No. This is out of control now.
Low key implying that someone could be mature enough at that age.
True, but she doesn't cut it. Like, that's... It's those backhanded remarks again. But hearing it now from a female, this is... If I was like a fiance of somebody and this was happening, this would not be my response. Like, this is so not natural or real or normal. This is fucking ridiculous for her to feel like competition with a child. She's feeling competition with a child. Yeah, red flag, red flag.
Back and realize just how naive you were.
Of course, the lens, once again, is not on Ezra for pursuing a kid, but on Arya for being a kid. All of this narrative framing plays into romanticizing Arya and Ezra's relationship. There are other factors in place that help make this relationship more digestible. Like, during the filming of season 1, Lucy Hale was 20 and Ian Harding was 23. So even though viewers are cognizant of their characters' ages, visually it's not as jarring because the actors are both adults and closer in age.
This is what I was saying. Like, this happened all the time. Like, this is the framing of it. You have these actors and actresses that are adults. I mean, adults. Yeah, they're over the fucking age of 18, I guess. They're adults. And then they're playing these 16-year-olds. It messes with your mind and it makes you feel like it's more acceptable than it should be.
In reality, this is what Lucy Hale actually looked like as a 16-year-old. This is from an episode of Ned's Declassified where she played a...
Wait, Lucy Hale was in Ned's Declassified? Wait, I need to go to the chat really quick. Wait, Ned's Declassified? Lucy Hale was in that? I didn't even know that. Look how young she is when she was actually 16. Now imagine her with him at 23. Now it looks like red flag, red flag. But because they were literally only 3 years apart, you're not seeing that. Oh, the show is giving me... I just want to go protest, like, now. Like, ABC Family or Freeform. Does Freeform still exist? I might be rolling up there.
I'll roll. I mean,
they need to put a disclaimer in the beginning of all these episodes.
That's a kid. That is a child. And this is what she looks like next to a 25-year-old Ian Harding. Now, to be fair, I don't believe the actor's age difference was a calculated decision on the show's part. At least, not in that way. It makes sense that networks wouldn't want characters with the most screen time to be restricted by child entertainment labor laws if it's easily avoidable.
Right, of course. But still, like, what... To me, it still feels somewhat intentional because if I'm a kid or if I'm just anyone watching this show, them looking like they're each other's age doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. Like in the same way, you know what I mean? Now, if I saw Lucy when she was actually 16 and him being 23, 20, or an actual 25-year-old, you know, then I would go, whoa, you know, it has a different like body. You have a different response in your body to that.
Well, yeah, it forces you to think about it.
Correct. When you're just seeing them look the same age, like it's just different.
Yeah, you don't think of them as a different age. Even though
Correct.
that's how they're written. Yeah.
Correct. Total different vibe and manipulative as fuck, honestly. I don't like
Still,
that.
that doesn't change that the actor's proximity and age makes their character's relationship easier for the audience to accept. The show still benefits. In line with this,
Right.
we could argue that the actor's attractiveness shapes the audience's perception too. In the same way that attractive actors' portrayals of real-life serial killers often minimizes the audience's negative
Oh, definitely.
perception of the crimes.
Definitely.
Casting conventionally attractive actors to play these characters makes it much easier for audiences to accept or even support the relationships, no matter how problematic they are. Marlene King, on several occasions, has proclaimed that Arya and Ezra are soulmates.
They're soulmates. Even when they're not together, they're soulmates. I think Ezra are soulmates.
This
and I have
is
said
the
whether they
show.
like it or
Wait,
not.
this is the showrunner of the show. Oh man, why? What's wrong with you? They're soulmates. It's like, are you an adult?
Where do we even start with this? A showrunner of any teen drama calling one of the show's couples soulmates
Yes.
is very telling to that showrunner's priorities and where those characters are going to end up. She's showing
Right.
her hand entirely. There's no ambiguity here. She is loyal to this couple. I cannot think of a higher endorsement. And let's talk about that word. The whole thing about a soulmate is that you only have one. There's not a person in the entire world who could be a better match than your soulmate. And there's no logical way of knowing if someone is your soulmate. It's something that you feel. The idea of
This
soulmates
is just so like, just so beyond irresponsible for an older person working for a kids network, a network that literally has family in the freaking name, is running a show and not only romanticizing predatory behavior, but not just romanticizing it, but then trying to make it that it actually, they're soulmates, that it's a real, it's real, like it's something that should be pursued, which basically sends the message to children that don't listen to your parents. If a guy, you know, if someone's preying on you, don't listen to your parents. You know what's best for you. If you feel like this person is a soulmate, they just might be. That's like, oh my God, it's the opposite message an adult sends to a child about these things. The absolute opposite. It's just the absolute opposite. And now you have her, that just, whoo. And you know, like how Disney now has those disclaimers, like Sloan talks about that in this video where I just totally agree with it, where, you know, like now with Disney, it says it was never acceptable then and it's not acceptable now. And they like basically apologize for, you know, the behavior. They don't excuse the behavior, whatever. They really should do that for Pretty Little Liars, because the fact that now it's still running on, you know, HBO and Hulu probably or whatever, you know, new kids are watching, you know, this show, and hopefully they have the internet gives them some type of better language education around these topics now than when we were growing up, you know, in 2010. But still, I think a disclaimer is necessary for a show that is romanticizing and hypernormalizing predatory behavior and making the predator seem like it's a soulmate and actually framing it that way. And I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Keep playing. Let's see what these tweets are that I'm just curious. Fast forward a little bit to see where I kind of want to see the tweets from this person. Here we go.
Marlene King's words carried weight in this fandom. This is the woman who controlled what happened to the audience's favorite characters. She knew the actors and worked with them daily. To a 13-year-old fan on Tumblr, this woman was sitting at the head of the cool kids table.
Right.
Marlene King, to her detriment, is very active on social media.
Oh,
You'd
no.
think the soulmate
Oh,
dialogue and the
no.
show's
It's not going
perpetuation,
well.
framing, and blatant romanticization of these relationships would be proof enough of Marlene's opinion, but she doesn't stop there. Some of these tweets are
Ew.
really bad. Look,
Whoa,
I know
S
that
scenes? Did I
every
just see that?
produced teen drama
I definitely
series
did.
is created by adults. The majority of media created for teenagers is created by adults. And I
Wait,
know
and
that
now this adult is now interacting with children on social media and like hyping up. I can't believe this is I can't believe I didn't know about this until recently. I mean, this is far out. This is really far. Now it's getting super meta too, because now you have the person who's approving of this type of behavior, romanticizing it, etc. Now engaging with children online. Like, isn't this a wow? Okay.
teen
It's getting
shows
weirder.
have romance and sex in them.
Too much
especially
time on
soapy
her
dramas.
feet.
And I
Wait.
understand that the adults
100% too much time on her feet, Becca. 100% too much time on her feet. That was perfect timing.
who write those
Guilty.
scenes are not doing anything wrong by writing them. R.I.P. to that one time John Green was attacked on Tumblr. But what is unsettling to me is the buddy way this 50-something
Whoa, look at these. Are you guys seeing these texts?
interacted with a
Wait.
Pause it.
As Rhea finally get their cabin in the woods? So is Ezria...
That's one of the girls. One of the young girls.
Yeah, but Ezria is their names combined, dude. It's Ezra and Arya.
Oh,
She's
shit, yeah.
combining the fucking names of a predator and its victim. Like, I can't.
No,
I-
that's crazy.
That's...
That's crazy.
Wait, I don't even think it... Is it showing on for them?
Oh, wait, it's not. My bad.
No, you're all good. I was like, wait, is it though? There. You guys, hashtagging and blending a predator with his victim on ABC fucking Family. Call it freeform, whatever they want to call it. Whatever they want to call it. This is wild. Ezria finally get their cabin in the woods. You have way too much time on your feet. What is up with you, Marlene? Marlene, get off of Twitter. Marlene needs to get off of Twitter, needs to stop working for kid shows, is a big problem.
I think the government needs to regulate 40-year-olds on Twitter.
Like-
People 40 and above on Twitter. Like, you got to take a test or something, because it never is good.
No, because they don't even know what's even, that's also the problem, is because some of them don't even know it's like even acceptable anymore. Like in
Yeah,
the sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're so out in the, not everyone, but there are definitely some like Marlene.
Yeah, no, if they pass the test, it's fine. They're good.
Yeah,
you know?
but not Marlene would not pass this test, dude.
Yeah, and it would be easy it's common sense. It would be easy for most people.
Correct. Most people would pass it. And then you would see a lot of them not passing it. Anyone who thinks it's okay to literally blend a predator and its victim as a hashtag, romanticizing that, and it's about a child, you're just like, this...
largely underage fan base on social media, publicly promoting this predatory relationship
Right.
and teasing its upcoming sex scenes to young fans. There's a power.
Ew! I saw a scene. I fucking saw it. That is so scary and not okay. I'm freaked out. I'm freaked out. I'm freaked out. Wait, what is it? It's called X now. Oh, wait, did we say Twitter? We totally did that. I mean, quiet, we totally did.
For sure did that.
We said Twitter. Becca, beyond. We did not pass. I didn't pass. It's me who didn't pass.
Dynamic here. Some of these kids worshipped her. And it wasn't just Marlene King. Maya Goldsmith, who worked on the show in its full run, starting from staff writer and eventually.
Also, I don't think Marlene is even 40, dude. I think Marlene might be a little bit older than that, to be quite honest. Which is
that's what I'm
why
saying, 40 and above.
I mean, but 40. You're 4 years away from 40, dude. You're gonna get regulated.
I'll take the test. I'm good.
Take the test.
It's 5 years, by the way.
Oh right, shit. Sorry. That's true. That's true. But I feel like 40 is so close. But I would take the test too.
And
I would have already.
Pass. It's all good.
I wouldn't pass, dude. I would be still calling it Twitter and it's fucking X. I'm already not passing.
Up to supervising producer, tweeted on
Who's
more
this?
than one occasion that she would release Ezria spoilers or Ezria script pages in exchange for getting more followers on Twitter.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
that does not
Oh,
look great. She
shit.
told fans that if they got hashtag frisky with Fitz trending, she would reveal if Arya and Ezra kiss in the upcoming
Nope.
season.
Nope.
I'll be honest.
Okay. Okay. Nope. Nope.
Dude,
Nope.
she's clout farming her show.
Yes, she totally is.
That's crazy.
She totally is. And it's about predatory behavior with a child. Like, this is a child. This is great. This is honestly out of
It
control.
all rubs me the wrong way. The phrasing, the inducements, the power dynamics between these kids who didn't know any better and these adults that did. I don't like it. I did not like looking for these tweets. I felt
No.
gross reading them.
Ew!
I'm trying to understand and imagine what the defense would be. But 2013 was not long enough ago for this to be considered remotely acceptable.
Wait, 2013? This is even now past 2010, and they're still. Wow.
Behavior.
I know. Still, it's complicated. It was a different time.
It wasn't a time before they invented laws, was it?
Yeah,
In
no.
the show's first seasons, connecting with fans on social media was a relatively new experience. Obviously, this was pre-TikTok. At the time, Facebook and Twitter were booming. Tumblr was worth almost $1 billion.
Oh, shit.
Instagram launched 4 months
billion.
after the pilot aired, and it blew up quickly. And there were a lot of fans
That's
who
so weird.
used these platforms to talk
Yeah,
about the show.
Tumblr, $1 billion? Who
It's weird 'cause
owns
it's also,
Tumblr
like,
now?
Not that long ago.
No, it
But
wasn't
it
that long
feels
ago.
so long ago now.
It does, and like looking at how Instagram looked then is
Like Instagram hadn't even started when the show came out.
No.
That's crazy.
No, 2010, dude. That was so long ago. But you're right, it doesn't feel that long ago. But when you look at it and realize it, then you do realize how long ago it was.
To think about a time before like Instagram is kind
Yeah.
of crazy.
True. Like I feel like Facebook and Instagram both came out at like the exact same time. Like I
Right,
can't think of
yeah.
them as separate.
Right. But they were very different times.
True. They were. Wait, what is the Biden emote?
I'll admit, writers are notorious for
Who
being
owns Tumblr?
overshadowed in general, but especially when it comes to
Yahoo?
screenwriting. Yeah, they
Yeah.
typically have more power
Interesting.
in TV than in film, but often they still
Weird.
don't get enough credit. So being able to connect with fans
Used
this
to love
way,
Tumblr.
to take in their engagement and excitement head on, it must have felt good. It must have been a really big ego boost. I mean, one look at Marlene King's Instagram shows that she's still
Oh.
chasing that high. And I get it.
Wait, she's
That's
still
human.
posting about Pretty Little Liars? That's unreal. But also, like, yeah, I feel like what Sloane's saying, I think it's actually good grace to give in the sense where you're putting yourselves in, you know, someone else's shoes and trying to imagine the time, the circumstance. But at the same time, like, I just don't see any adult with morals, like true morals, true ethics, pushing this, tweeting like this. Like, I don't know. To me, there's still something wrong innately when it comes to this showrunner. Because I just don't think, and I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see people just doing that because of just the time or what social media was popping at that time. I just still don't see it personally. There's still something weird here.
So many of these fans were kids, and they knew that. And
Right, yeah, they knew this too.
I cannot sugarcoat or try to justify tweets like this.
You can't, no
I cannot find a
regrets.
single instance where Marlene King has publicly posted, tweeted, written, or said anything directly addressing the illegal and predatory nature of Arya and Ezra's relationship.
Weird.
Which I guess isn't that surprising.
Wait, what is she gonna
because
say?
Really, what is she going to say?
Yeah,
What
nothing.
logical reasoning could she use to defend a high school teacher dating his student?
Nothing.
It's not like she's unaware. She can bend over backwards, dodging any discourse surrounding their relationship, or read an entire paragraph and cherry pick the most irrelevant point to respond to. Given Marlene's tendency to shy away from acknowledging anything of actual importance on social media, it makes sense that the show turns the same blind eye to the age gaps and predatory dynamics. When the show finally does confront its underage relationships, it focuses its lens very deliberately and rarely on.
Does anyone remember this? I was pretty blown away when I was seeing clips of this on Reddit where the parents like find out about it. This scene is so bad. It's wild. It's so bad. Wait for this.
Underage problem. Instead, it looks at the next best ethical argument that's there, clings to it, and doesn't let go. For Arya and Ezra's relationship, it's the teacher-student elements and the ethical issues surrounding that.
Right.
So practically any time the morality of their relationship comes up, the characters leech to very specific rhetoric involving Arya being Ezra's student, but rarely, if ever, do they acknowledge that she is 16. Like when Ezra's friend confronts him in season 1.
What, Ezra? She's cute. She's smart. I get it. There's no argument, but she's your student, man.
Or when Arya and Ezra
There's
tell her
no argument to the bro. Like, is this how the bros are talking to one another? Yeah, true. But like, she's she's your student. She's a child, bro. Don't even start it with yeah, agreed. Like that's already giving the pass to talk like that, view it like that. You know what I mean? It's already like normalizing it between the bros where it's like, yeah, true. But like, don't. It's like, let's just be like, don't anything. Like, don't hang out with this person. This is a child. This is not acceptable behavior. This is predatory behavior, by the way. The victim, the child here is not at fault. You are in the position of power here, and this is not acceptable behavior. It's like really simple. I don't understand. And then you call the police, like what Sloan was saying. Like, and then you call the police if the person's still down to act like this, like a predator.
Parents.
She wasn't my student then.
She wasn't your student then?
This happened while you were her teacher?
Their response does not once address.
This happened while you were her teacher? How is that the first thing that's coming to your mind, honestly? He's like 25 years old at this point. It's like season 2 or is it season 1? He must be like 26 now. And she's 17. It's like, no matter what, this is like, you're how old? And how old was she when you started to groom her? Let me see. Cassie, my 13-year-old son was the one who told me about Dan's accusations and introduced me to you, Alexa. I'm glad kids nowadays are more aware of the dangers of kids on TV and stranger danger signs in general. Cassie, thank you so much for being here. And that's so wonderful that your son, honestly, was the one who showed you this, because that's very true. Times are changing where there is more, conversation around these topics and more language to describe things. And though at the same time, something that I was talking to my husband Miko about the other day was that I saw there was like some kid show that was like on YouTube, like recommended, whatever, on the side of my thing. And it was like Stranger Danger. And it brought me back to being a kid and thinking about how many times I was taught to beware of strangers, but not people that I knew personally. And most of the people that I have personally been, abused by, are people I know or knew. And it wasn't a stranger. It wasn't somebody that looked like a monster. It wasn't somebody who even necessarily gave all the red flags, right? It was somebody who looked like just anybody. And in set environments, and that's another thing, like when I was doing Zoe 101, no one thought back then or even heard about, showrunners or anyone, abusing. That just wasn't, no one knew this. This wasn't common dialogue. This wasn't part of the conversation. This wasn't happening yet. And so you just never saw, like, you would excuse whatever behavior these individuals were showing to you or acting out in a way that was excusing behavior because they were somebody who you've never been told could do this. You know? Just so interesting. Like when I see the stranger danger thing, I'm like, yeah, strangers, sure. I mean, I understand like what that's about. And though also I feel like there's not enough education about people around you, your neighbor, your coworker, your boss. And obviously the Me Too movement definitely opened, box when it came to all of that. And thank God it did. But it just made me think of that when you said that, because it's also people, so many times it's people we actually know. So anyways, basically what ends up happening here, which I fucking can't believe this, by the way, I want to get into Vince. So like, I'm going to speed up this a little bit. So essentially what ends up happening here though, I do want to get here because this is so fucking wild. Like the only redeeming thing about this that he wasn't, as is reveal, here we go. That he wasn't like, didn't know her age at the time of the bar. You guys, this is wild. This part is wild. This reveal.
In season 4, it is revealed that Ezra knew who Arya was before they met. Like in the pilot at the bar. He was writing a book on Allison. And this changes everything.
Yeah.
I need to acknowledge there is not a shred of doubt in my mind that during the development of season 1, Marlene King or any of the other producers or writers had even considered this plot twist. The conception of this idea probably didn't even happen until they started writing season 4.
Right, because
Now,
someone even said in the book he goes to prison, and then in the show they get married. So that kind of makes sense. That plays
I can't
out
prove
honestly.
it, but considering the show in its entirety and all of its impulsive and anomalous plot lines, I feel confident that this was one of them, and total retcon, which just makes it so much more bizarre.
Right.
This recontextualizes their entire relationship.
Right.
As if this man wasn't creepy enough already, this puts him on a whole other level. It means he stalked Arya and S8'd her through deception.
Right.
It means he sat alone in his apartment and individually
Premeditated. So this thing that they were pushing out as like soulmates, and then she's still pushing out that they're soulmates even after this reveal. That he's like a straight up horrific predator. Like they're all horrific, but you know what I mean. Like he is on a serious fucking level and still soulmates. Still soulmates. Officially at the 3-hour mark, you're a trooper. Oh my God, Sia, did I really do it? I'm at the 3-hour mark. Well, this is like time's flying when you're having like, I don't know if this is, I wanted to say this topic though is pretty gnarly, but I'm enjoying doing this with you guys. I did it. And Laura, welcome to the dinner party. I can't. Don't tell her, Sia. Yeah, don't even tell me. Now I'm like wheeling out. Like, excuse me. My chair. Like, I did it. I'm out. No, but this is just so wild to me. Is it not wild to you guys that the only shred of I don't know, argument that they could bring to the table is that he didn't know her age at the bar. And so when that happened, that was that. Now we're finding out he was stalking her, preying on her, knew her age, and technically S8'd her by deception. What is happening? And then they still get married? Hold on. Is that really what happens?
cut out these pictures and glued them to a poster like a little arts and crafts project. The only justification this show had for their relationship was that at the bar, in the pilot, Ezra did not know how old Arya was when they met and made out. That distinction was the only thing they had going for them ethically. That was the one thing. The minuscule, flimsy, broken leg they were standing on. Granted, that shred of morality went out the door the moment he continued a relationship with her after realizing she was his student and 16. But that didn't stop the show from clutching onto that one fact like a life preserver.
Ew.
She's your student, man. That's not how I met her.
And 3 seasons later, they're willingly going to take the tiny gram of moral grayness that they used as a halo over their entire relationship and just rip it all up. All this choice does is make him so much creepier than he already was.
He has like photos of her and everything like in a box. I'm sorry. That image to me like freaked me out. He was also stalking Allison. So creepy. Like, what the fuck is this? What is wrong with this?
And I can't wrap my head
showrunner?
around it. It's not every day you see that level of self-sabotage. I genuinely can't tell if it stemmed from idiocy or apathy.
Mm.
Look, I'll be candid. I hate this plotline. I know it's absolute gold in my argument. It's the equivalent of if I was a hunter and a deer shot itself in front of me. But I can't stand that they added this because it minimizes the reality
Right.
presented in the previous seasons.
Right.
And makes what we thought their relationship was look guileless by comparison.
Ew.
This happens.
Right.
This is a reality that we see all the time. But this, some guy getting a teaching job to interact with a specific...
Correct. This is on another level of predatory behavior. He was actually seeking a child out. Deceiving. Got a role as a teacher to purposefully continue to prey on her and deceive her into then essaying her. This is a kid's show. And then they
a
get
group
married.
of high school girls and planting himself in one of their lives to write a book on her missing friend.
Oh, this
that
part
is
coming up, I can't
beyond
even
the realm of
It's worth it.
possibility. And the problem with this is it can create a dissonance with viewers' perceptions of teacher-student relationships and their standards of what they find acceptable. And honestly,
Right.
the sad thing is this could have been the best plot twist in the entire show. Hell, in the entire genre of teen dramas. Can you imagine? So much of the very young audience rooted for this illicit relationship. They were written in the stars. No one understood them.
Soulmates.
#Ezria. And then bam, it
We
was
gotta
all
get-
a lie. He groomed the protagonist and he groomed the audience. And the whole time, he was a predator.
Yeah, we got to get a soundbite of whatever Marina, what is her name? The showrunner of her saying soulmate, because honestly, that
There's a few
that
soundbites we gotta
it's
pull
yeah.
from
I was
this.
like, I was just thinking that. I
There's
was
the
like,
part where he
wait.
like I'm a teacher or something.
Oh my, yeah, that's that too. 100%. I'm a teacher. You're a student. This is so freaking. Oh, here. Okay, I need to see this though, because this is where it even gets. This is wild right here.
In the episode She's Come Undone, written by Jonelle Lennon, Arya tries to process all of her emotions following the
This.
reveal of Ezra's secret. Arya writes a letter entailing her high school experience with him. The letter says, I am a student at Rosewood High School, and I
Okay.
have had a sexual relationship with my former teacher, Ezra Fitz, since I
Okay.
was a sophomore until now. I have been too ashamed to come forward, but I have come to realize Mr. Fitz is a twisted, conniving predator, and I need to stop him from doing this to anyone else.
Okay. And you're like, whoa, she came around. Like, this is awesome. Like, here it is. What's going to happen? What does the showrunner do now?
He needs to be charged with exploiting a teenager when he was in a position of power. Arya goes
Right.
to the principal's house to give him the letter, but Hannah stops her before she can.
Look, if this gets out, it's gonna hurt you too. It will be in the papers all over town.
Let's get something out of the way. Hannah Marin is one of, if not the most popular protagonist on
I'm
Pretty Little
sure.
Liars. She's typically the comic relief and the character that refreshingly says what's on her mind. And because of that, she frequently ranks as the most liked Pretty Little Liar on polls. So having
I love
Hannah
that there's a poll for this. She's ranking on the polls.
fan favorite protagonist dissuade Arya from coming forward against her abuser
This is fucked up.
is so incredibly irresponsible.
Totally.
Relationships like Arya and Ezra's exist. It's hard to know exact numbers because many of them stay secret. Even though teaching unions say that they're very rare, a YouGov survey found that 1 in 6 adults knew of someone who had had an intimate relationship with a teacher while at school. And that's just teachers.
Wow.
That's not counting coaches or friends' parents
Right.
or camp counselors.
Right.
Whatever role the adult has, they apply just the same to the victims who watch this show and see their situations reflected in Arya and Ezra's.
Yeah, and now you have like the friend, like who everyone like loves, adores, talking her out of making a report and preventing him from getting access to any more victims. And what's going to happen? What do the adults decide here now?
Tell Principal Hackett about your relationship? Ezra's not just gonna suffer, he's gonna go to jail.
And the reality is, many victims don't come forward because
Correct.
these relationships are complicated. Or they do, but they feel guilty about speaking up and then don't because they'd blame themselves for what would end up happening to their abuser. The victim doesn't always see it as, if I come forward, they will face the negative consequences of their actions. For many people, it's, if I come forward, I am the sole reason that they will face negative consequences. Even though it's not true, that feeling of self-blame is all too real, and it's another lingering effect of control the abuser has on their victim. So for Pretty Little Liars to essentially tell the audience that she would be in the wrong for coming forward against this.
They're going deeper into the ground, like shamelessly. This is just, this is not real.
And because he would face the consequences of his own actions is a gross abuse of power and influence. Honestly, it makes me sick.
Yeah,
and to top
agreed.
it all off, when Arya decides not to tell, Hannah then says,
You did the right thing.
I can't believe this aired on TV. I
You
can't believe this got to
did the right thing not reporting a predator who is in the school, gaining access, stalking a minor. I mean, what the
writer's
fuck
room.
is happening?
There are so few lucky people that get to make TV shows and be the
Right.
one that has the creative control over the plot and the direction and the characters and the dialogue. That's not a job that you can apply for on LinkedIn. And even if you are on the ladder of staff writer, it's never a guarantee that you'll be able to run your own show one day. To be one of those few, to have the power and the platform where you can say, well, evidently pretty much anything, to use it
I
to tell
agree.
your young audience that a protagonist is right for staying silent against her abuser that groomed her, stalked her, and SA'd her by deception, it's not okay. Not when your show's demographic is girls.
Wait, that rollout of her saying that is just, you're like, what? This was on ABC Family? And then you're like, oh, okay, so she was going to report him. She doesn't. Is this where this character, goes away? And then you end up finding out that the showrunner gets them married, which I don't even understand how that happens, but I guess all of a sudden.
Relationship. In the same vein, a child wouldn't be at fault for having a crush on an adult. If the child expressed romantic interest in the adult, it
And
would be
look
the
at
adult's
this
responsibility
too.
to
This
enforce
was
boundaries
also
because children,
pretty. These were
like
actual
many
T-shirts.
TV shows and franchises, Pretty Little Liars had their own line of clothing and accessories.
Yep.
Some of which
Look at
alluded to
this,
Arya and Ezra's relationship.
Mr. Fitz, and this is literally a Pretty Little Liars ABC made T-shirt where not only are they're not calling him Ezra, they're calling him by like the teacher, term, like Mr. Blank, and selling this to children with I Heart, like I think it was in 2013 or 2014. No matter when it was, this is beyond unacceptable behavior. Not only did that show roll out like that, they also have a T-shirt that is saying they heart their teacher who is a predator, who stalked the girl, who essayed her by deception, like that whole rollout that Sloan just said here. They were having kids wear the T-shirt, I heart him. I mean, that part also just blew my, like, wow, ABC Family. That really took it to a different level here. And then they get fucking married. You're like, okay, here it is.
As easy as it would be to just blame these relationships on Marlene King, she is not the only one responsible. The truth is, a lot of people made this happen.
Here, true.
And thereby
It is different layers.
introduced a revolutionary idea.
Following ABC Family / Freeform's own alleged moral code, as generously outlined by Marlene King, to allow Ezra to marry Arya and have his happy ending, is to insinuate that he did nothing wrong. As easy as it would be to just blame these relationships on Marlene King,
No, you can't.
she is not
It's
the
everyone.
only one responsible. The truth is, a lot of people made this happen. And granted, some of those people had significantly more power than others and played larger roles because of
Totally.
that. Marlene King made the pitch that set these relationships in motion to thrive on TV. But ABC Family development executives approved it. And as the show continued, they continued approving it. The network apparently drew the line.
They allow them to get married. That's a fraudulent marriage. They're trying to make a fraudulent marriage. Like, who wrote this? The Predator? Who pitched this? The Predator? Who put this on there? The Predator? Like, it's bizarre. It's like as if he wrote this for this network. You know what I mean? This feels, he's not only predatory, but the actual show itself is now predatory. Just weird. Just really weird.
On characters smoking cigarettes and had serious conversations about whether or not to let Arya's brother push his mom. But they allowed this relationship to happen and end on a positive note.
Right.
As much as I wish the actors did, I don't blame them for not approaching their characters' relationship with the same criticism Robert Pattinson and Penn Badgley.
Am I screen sharing? No, you're fine.
Expressed to their respective characters in Twilight and You. But if they weren't going to publicly condemn the relationship, the least they could have done was not outwardly endorse it.
Right.
Lucy Hale supported the relationship throughout the entire show. In an Elle interview, she called them soulmates and said there was a pureness behind the relationship. And she unfortunately maintains this opinion in 2023. In an interview with TV Line about their character's reference in the newest Pretty Little Liars spinoff, Original Sin, she said, "I love it. I'm happy to know that Arya and Ezra are still kicking it. That's great. Team Arya and Ezra all the way." Ian,
Wait, you're telling me that now after the Me Too movement, with all this education, that Lucy Hale is still endorsing predatory behavior? Is this real? Does anyone see anything past this interview where maybe she has taken these words back or sees things clearly, or is she really sticking to that narrative of how she's viewing that? That's pretty wild. I'm kind of surprised by that. There's a horrendous nod to very messed up relationship between brother and sister type characters. Oh, what is that? I just read. Very curious. If you see anything about Lucy Hale when it comes to her not necessarily supporting, obviously this type of behavior, I'm very curious because I want to create some space for her to, I don't know, change her perspective and not endorse that type of situation. I don't even want to say relationship. There is no relationship with a predator. Like, that's not what it is. It's a relationship. Obviously, the victim feels that it is, but I don't believe that predators get into relationships. I think they just prey. So anyways, okay, so Lucy Hale is still endorsing this. Got it.
Harden's a little harder
They get
to pin
married.
down. The fandom
That
seems
is
to believe
wild
he's
to
very
me. I mean,
anti-Ezria, and there
so
is some truth to that.
I feel like I can go into Vince, but I feel like maybe I should just I should continue. I didn't realize that this was going to be that chunky of an episode. I didn't realize. And I have so much to get into that maybe I feel like I should, where this ends right here, because this is where it ends, this whole half should just be on Thursday where we go into Vince, because I really want to go into Vince. I don't want to just skim over it. It's pretty important for us to really look at, freeform offices. Good job, Miko. But I feel like we should really go into Vince's lawsuit, and I don't feel like I'll be able to. I'll still have, if I even go into it today, I'm still gonna have to go into it on Thursday because there won't be enough time to cover it all today. So I feel like, do you think we can resume on Thursday, everyone? And go into, I don't know, like I fucking wait, where is this? Wait. I mean, this guy, I'm willing to just pull this up. Like, what the fuck is this? I'm just going to leave it on this note, and then we can go into, this is who is running, this is... Who? Here's another thing, though. See this, what's happening right here? This is also the same shit we're seeing in ABC fucking Family. It's hyper-normalizing behavior that is predatory. This is also, or like ABC Family likes to put it, student, teacher, whatever. Well, this is boss, right? And secretary. You see this? And they're going to pin it that it's just that. No, no, no. This is predatory behavior. This is not acceptable behavior. And they're hyper normalizing it here in WWE. And I see this time and time again with so many different networks, hyper normalizing predatory behavior and not looking into the individuals that are writing this predatory behavior and seeing it as a fucking red flag. If I saw someone wanting to constantly put shit like this into a television show that I was the head of or I had to approve of, I would start questioning the person who keeps bringing this shit across my desk. I'd be like, so what's going on here exactly? Why do I keep seeing predatory behavior that you're trying to get me to greenlight over and over and over again? Like, what the fuck is this? I need to now look into you. I'm going to do an investigation to see that everything's chill on set as of late. Because that to me is a red flag. When this type of behavior is constantly coming down the pipeline, right, towards executives, heads of networks, you got to start going, who is allowing this behavior to be allowed? To be allowed. And I see it like, if you think about like Rick and Morty and, you know, this is behavior that is so beyond unacceptable. But because it's on television, you know, people get desensitized to it through media. But it doesn't mean, like, most of the time you end up finding that these people are not acceptable individuals themselves who are allowing this to or wanting this to be on screen, right? I don't really want to give too much grace to the showrunner of Pretty Little Liars because I feel like at what point do you draw the line as a human? You know, at what point you're still a human being. Yeah, you're a showrunner, but human being first and foremost. And where do you draw the line? And to me, it says a lot about that showrunner, that person's morals, their ethics, what they think is acceptable, what they think is not. And this separation of, you know, the content with the person who's wanting the content honestly does need to end, because I still think regardless, it does reflect who the person is or what they find acceptable. Do they prioritize money over people? Let's say even if it's not like this person's necessarily a predator, do they think that money is more important than the impact and the responsibility they have when it comes to content for children? It's like an honest question that should be there. So I feel like we should just go into Vince on Thursday, because we got into a lot today. That was like a lot to unpack, and I want to allow the time and space for Vince.
So Vince is connected to this Pretty Little Liars
No!
story?
Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
That would be so... I mean, honestly, in the sense where, yes, there were things that were happening on television, you know, that Vince was definitely pitching to the showrunner. Like there's interviews that I'm going to pull up where Vince was basically giving ideas to the showrunners and to the producers that were beyond unacceptable, beyond red flags, and nobody did anything about it. Instead, the network was covering up for Vince constantly.
Right.
And allowing this type of behavior and not saying, hey, does the content reflect the people that are involved? And I think that needs to change. It's not saying, oh, you know, everyone's a predator here, but what is it saying as us who are involved in this content? Where do we draw the line? You can't separate yourself from it completely. I don't think you can, because if you're seeing this happen regularly and you're partaking in it, and not only are you partaking in it, but you're also having the position to approve of it or disapprove, that to me is where I draw the line. You know, if I saw any of those scripts coming past my desk when it comes to Pretty Little Liars, there's no way in hell any of that would have happened if I had the position. And even if I saw a whole bunch of children, you know, online making videos, making GIFs or whatever about this fraudulent relationship, in my opinion, I would go, their brain is more important, their mind is more important than the profits I'm getting off of their manufactured, you know, whatever praise of those two characters. Really. You know what I mean? Like, I would swear, I really do swear, if that came across my desk, there's just no way that I would pick the profit over these kids being safe. Like, this is about these children having safety and knowing when something is not right. And to also make it that when she was going to report, that then they also talked her out of reporting and said it was a good decision that she didn't report him. I'm sorry, it does reflect you, whatever her name is. I don't even remember what the fuck her name was. Maybe someone can remind me. But the showrunner, Marlene, is that Marlene? I feel like it was Marlene.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, Marlene. You know, Marlene, like, it does reflect you as a person. It does. And you obviously did not care about the safety of the children that were watching your show, in my opinion. There's just no way that you did. And so when you think of also Vince, when it comes to WWE, we got the same thing going on where it looks like behind the scenes, all these things were getting approved and Vince was pitching all of these ideas for content for the show, and they were serious red flags, beyond problematic, and people just let it slide for profit. For profit. And also that I'm sure that, you know, I'm just saying Vince most likely isn't the only person that was probably predatory, which I've seen online, is not the only person that's predatory working there. And so you got a whole bunch of alleged predators, you know, allowing what they basically manufacturing consent, like hyper normalizing their behavior. What I said Dan Schneider did as well, where it's like, I still believe that the fact that he was able to show those types of TV shows to young children, I always think to myself, why? Like, why all the feet, you know, and why? And the only answer I get to at the end of the day is desensitization. It does desensitize things that should be ringing alarms. And if you didn't see it that often, you would see it as a red flag. You would be jarred by that. But if you put children into consuming this type of content, you know, over and over again, and you're romanticizing it, or you're hyper normalizing it, or you're just making it a nonchalant joke, whatever, that does have impact on the viewer. And the viewer does get desensitized to this type of behavior to the point where they can be, I want to say it was like easy prey, you know, really easy prey. And just sometimes at the end of the day, for me, feels like each predator is like helping get more victims by like the content that they are exposing people to, and how we're getting more and more desensitized to predatory behavior. Even when it comes to capitalism, like, even what we're seeing on their social media right now, it's like things, when you see it so much, you know, it just, your brain, it starts to become desensitized to things. And that's a very scary place to be, because then you just get used to it and you start to think it's normal, or that it's just going to be part of your day to day. And it shouldn't be that. Should be alarming. We should fight for a difference. Like, things should actually change. We shouldn't settle for shit like that. But that's what I think. So yeah, I feel like let's get into Vince on Thursday. Cause I have his complaint here, which, by the way, I mean, guys, this is like I've never read a complaint like this before. It's beyond disturbing. And the text messages alone, when it comes to him, it's so bad. And the content too that was being created, like, wait till, yeah, okay, we're gonna do it Thursday. Let's do it Thursday so that I can actually get into it and not feel like I'm rushed, because there is a lot there, and we did it. Over 3 hours stream. Thank you all for being here, for being on that journey with me for the first time. 3 hours, so deep. But thank you so much for being here, and yeah, we did it. God, like Pretty Little Liars. I'm never gonna look at that show ever the same. And I really wonder if Freeform is still around. If you know anything more about Pretty Little Liars, anything that you find, please email it to eatpredators@gmail.com or post it in our Reddit. And, you know, thank you. And please, if you can, hit the like button. I don't like saying hit. Just click the like button to support this channel and subscribe and turn on your notifications. And thank you to this community so much for being here. I did it.